He'll be back in a couple of days. But, Ryan, it's not like we don't have anything to talk about here on a Monday with the tournament and the Sixers and the Eagles. It's like they just put it on a platter for us on a Monday.
Yeah, it's too easy. It's almost too easy. I'm looking around like, wait, okay. We have all this good stuff and content to get into. I mean, my goodness, we're going to discuss the first week of the tournament because that was, I think they call it March Madness. That was madness. It was absolute madness. We'll get into it. But obviously the news regarding the Eagles and the offseason free agency, CJ, GJ, no longer in Philly.
Absolutely. We're going to get into that. Also, don't forget, coming up on the show today, as usual, Mike McGarry from the Press of Atlantic City. Coming up in about 40 minutes from now, John McMullen, Jacob Media, Eagle and NFL Insider at 3. Football at 4, Jeff Mosher. A lot to get into with him from the Inside the Birds podcast, InsideTheBirds.com. And at 5 o'clock, we will get into the madness, March Madness. We will talk with former Boston College head coach Scott Spinelli, also worked at University of Maryland from the Believe Podcasting Network. He covers all their basketball for them. We're going to get his opinion because, Ryan, as you said, it was pure madness this weekend. But before we get to the madness and before we get to the Sixers, who have won 8 straight games, we got to talk about the Eagles because, I was on the air for a couple of days. Thursday, Friday, the NCAA tournament is on.
Yeah.
So when I came in to do Billy Schweim's show on Saturday at 10 a.m., there were a lot of things happening, but we were still waiting at that time for CJ to make up his mind. And Ryan, here's what I want to ask you.
Yep.
All the reports are that the Eagles offered CJ Garner Johnson a multi-year deal, not 1 year deal he got from Detroit, and for more money than what he got from Detroit. And the guy literally tried to wait out the market. And he found out that, guess what? The market don't want to pay him more than he's getting.
Now, is that confirmed though? Like when you had
Schefter,
that in our notes, that's a guarantee as far as 100% the Eagles were going to give him more money.
According to Adam Schefter, and then they talk about on the Inside the Birds podcast, that he was offered a certain amount of money at the very beginning. And then he said, I want more. Because remember, Jesse Bates got $16 million to go to the Falcons.
Right. I also saw a few things on the internet, so take it for what it's worth, but from some credible sources saying how the contract was laid out was actually not favorable for CJ. So, maybe
what's favorable, though?
Well, I think it was a Howie type of a contract where there was money sort of backloaded onto the, year 2 or year 3 or 4. So if it was a 3-year deal, out of the $24 million in total, he was getting like 17.5 in year 3.
Right.
So he really wasn't getting any type of money for the first 2 years. So, I mean,
but he's probably getting a fat signing bonus up front. That's what a lot of like for example, TJ Edwards got 12 of his 19 million up front from the Bears.
Right.
So it's like, I don't know about you, but if you're complaining about getting a fat chunk of money on day one up front, I think maybe you might be a little bit of an idiot, an unhappy person.
Yeah, we're unhappy. Another way to say it. Yes. I don't know. I think at the end of the day, he bet on himself, which I respect. And, I don't know if it worked out for him or not. He's going to say it did, but maybe it didn't in the end. But at the end of the day, you look at what Howie Roseman has done and decided not to do. And the bottom line question is, are we excited with all of this, especially after the CJ news? Are we good with Slay coming back, Bradbury coming back? It may sound stupid, but I think it's fair to pose that question, Josh.
Well, it's definitely fair because, a lot of the so-called experts are out there saying, listen, I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus, but, your people like Dan Orlovsky.
No, throw them under.
They're out there saying, the Cowboys and the Giants have had a great offseason. But here's the problem. We're 1 week into the free agency.
Yeah.
Some of Howie Roseman's best moves, Chris Long at the end of March, like Garrett Blunt in May back in 2017. They traded for A.J. Brown on draft day. Mm-hmm. They went out and got C.J. Garner Johnson in August last year. James Bradbury was June something last year. So it's like, are we being impatient with the process here, to use a very triggered Sixers term? But, are we trying to, are we selling people wolf tickets, Ryan, before the match has even been set?
Are we selling them wolf tickets? Is that what you said?
Yes.
What's a wolf ticket?
You don't know what a wolf ticket is?
A wolf ticket? No.
Basically, it's a term that was brought up by the Diaz brothers years ago in the UFC. It's the idea that you're selling people like fake entertainment.
Okay. It's like Fugazi.
Right. It's like, I'm going to sell you Swampland in Florida. I got Eric Estrada on the phone for you.
Right. I got you. Come see this amazing show, and it's just like, a kid in a diaper or something, whatever. I don't know why it's a kid in a diaper, but I digress. Yeah, I don't think anyone's been too overreactionary as far as, off-season's a success. Obviously, it's very early on, 1 weekend, as you said. We still have draft coverage and draft day ahead of us. But I think at the initial thought of Slay leaving, everyone was up in arms. What? Where did this come from? Why? Not Slay. He's a fan favorite.
I was one of them. I'll admit it.
And I get it. But then I started to think, well, is it really that horrible if he leaves? And then it ends up being the reverse, right? He stays. Slay's 32 years old. Bradbury's 29 years old. All right. Now, we know the success that they had as a duo last year and individually. But it's clear that for the most part, Josh, Howie has decided to, quote, run it back. And is that the best thing for this team? Maybe it is in the short term, but is it the best thing in the long term and just overall? Like, I think we can't be too reactionary to, our favorite players are staying. Well, is that the best thing?
But they did lose 5 starters from last year.
They did. They did.
Lost TJ Edwards, Kazir White, Javon Hargrave, now CJ Garner Johnson.
Right.
And I'm blanking. Marcus Epps. They lost those 5 guys, all starters. So maybe Howie isn't literally running it back, but maybe he said.
But you bring back BG, you bring back Fletcher Cox.
You need the leadership in the locker room.
Okay, that's fine. But at some point you have to cut ties with guys that are aging.
By the way.
No, not expensive, but still, it's adding up, right? You bring back BG. And by the way, listeners out there, I'm not hating on all these decisions. I'm painting both sides of the fence here.
You're asking the questions that need to be asked.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if this is the best thing.
Because guess what? Howie got everything right last year.
He did.
The odds of you getting everything right are very low. Look at the Sixers right now. The Montrezl Harrell and Dwayne Dedmon additions are looking really, really dumb right now. I'm just going to call it as is. Daniel House decided to appear about 2 weeks ago on this rotation, right? So for the, Daryl Morey, the guy's been around the NBA for it seems like a couple decades, right? So if he can't get everything right, and guess what? You mentioned running it back. Howie literally ran it back in 2018.
He did.
And that almost imploded in their face because of all the injuries they sustained that year.
Yes.
So you could argue that Howie, for as good of a GM as he is, because he is one of the better GMs in the league, he's not going to get everything right. And I think that in this free agency, it's obvious, Ryan Rothstein next to Josh Hennig filling in for Mike Yell here on the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN live at the Gallery Bar, booking games at Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City. One of the problems is that you said, hey, we are going to look at cornerback because we have a history of not getting cornerback right, which I understand. But guess what? You have a history of not getting linebacker right either. You were lucky that Kobe Dean fell to you where he did. And now you let go a guy in TJ Edwards who you theoretically could have paid that money for. It's not like TJ Edwards got crazy money from the Bears.
I don't want to pay TJ Edwards $20 million, though.
Yeah, but at the same time, that's partly there are guys who are going to be paid more than that.
Sure, but
the fan out there who's texting in at 609-403-0973, the fans who's hitting up Wise Rye on Twitter.
That's right.
They're telling you, I want Bobby Wagner. Well, Bobby Wagner's going to cost you $10-12 million a year. Exactly. TJ Edwards is costing you $8.
Right. There you go. But even then, listen, I like TJ Edwards. No offense, TJ. I'm sure he's listening. I like TJ Edwards a whole heck of a lot more when we're paying him $900,000. Like that. That's sure. Just, you can get a linebacker. What is the value of a linebacker for this Eagles defense? I think it's slim and done. That's just the reality. TJ had a great year, piled up his stats, had a ton of tackles. He was impactful and valuable. But I think you can get a replacement for him that can sort of mimic that production for way less on the cost.
But is that production you're talking about one of those, as I mentioned, late in the offseason additions that Howie likes to do? James Bradbury in June, the LeGarrette Blount in May, or do you go into the draft and see if somebody falls to you in the second or third round and then maybe pair that guy up with a Kobe Dean?
Well, I don't hate that idea. right? I think you have to take a look in come draft time and see what you can find, see if there's a hidden gem somewhere. And then I think June, you said it, the month of June is sort of round 2 fight for all this madness to continue as far as who can we find, who can we pick up, who can fall, off someone's radar and how he can swoop up and steal them. But another piece of this question, you sort of alluded to it. How has all of these decisions impacted draft day? How will it impact draft day for Howie?
I think it impacts him in a big way because of the fact that, when I was filling in for Mike Gill last week, what people were doing?
What?
They were texting in at 609-403-0973, and they kept saying to me, Christian Gonzalez of Oregon, Joey Porter Jr. of Penn State, Witherspoon from Illinois. Every fan who texted into the show last week was texting me about all those cornerbacks.
Yeah.
Now, how does the conversation change? Does it change? You know what I mean? Like, how do we evolve from it being all about those corners to now, do you stay at 10? Do you trade down? Like, how do you play that out? Because I think if you stayed at 10 and you needed a corner, it's kind of obvious, right?
Yeah, but let's look at history with Howie Roseman and even Jeffrey Lurie. They're not going to change their philosophy.
Right.
I mean, they are going to draft in the trenches. That's their priority. It always will be their priority, regardless of who's already on the roster. Right. So I think fans need to get it out of their heads. And correct me if you disagree, Josh, that the Eagles are going to look at a corner, look in the secondary in the first round. It's not going to happen.
Probably not.
Not going to happen. And the likelihood of Howie actually picking at 10, probably not going to happen. Right. He's probably going to make a trade, whether it's draft day or leading up to draft day.
Because they have 2 first-round picks. It's the other part of this conversation.
Yes.
It's them, it's Seattle. It's a couple teams that have 2 first-round picks. In Seattle, they're much higher than you in the draft order, but they don't need a quarterback. Maybe they could. Who knows? Maybe they draft Anthony Richardson. I wouldn't, but maybe they will. The thing is that, I know every Eagle fan, when you say trenches, they're thinking Jalen Carter. They're hoping Jalen Carter drops to the Eagles at 10, and he's the next Fletcher Cox coming in here and is your next, multiple-time Pro Bowl selection when Fletcher leaves down the road.
I mean, how likely is that? Question 1. 2, should they do it and would they do it? I have a lot more questions there, but I don't know if they would do that. Do you think they would? Jalen Carter?
I'm conflicted on Carter because on one hand, I love his talent. And I think that you didn't bring back BG, Fletcher, and Jason Kelsey and all these veterans to just hang out and drink beer. No, they're here to mentor these young guys, right?
Sure.
So if you have that kind of locker room, maybe Jalen Carter is the kind of person who needs a little extra, like, how Charles Barkley always talks about, like, the thing that changed his life was Moses Malone hoarding over his shoulder.
Rick Mahorn, the veterans.
Right.
Yeah.
Those guys, he said, it kept me from going to jail, Chuck said.
Yes.
So it's like, well, is Jalen Carter the kind of person who needs to walk into that situation because of these weird off-the-field issues?
Right. Maybe that's exactly what he needs. And maybe Howie and the Eagles staff would feel more comfortable because of their environment and the culture that they currently have. I mean, what about Jordan Davis, though? Listen, I'm not complaining if they have 2 young studs, but isn't Davis your next Cox?
Well, no, he's a nose tackle. He's a guy who's
going to, saying, sure. But my point is,
I think the idea is Milton Williams is supposed to be that guy. I think Milton Williams is the guy that they look at. Remember, he was like the athletic freak at the combine a few years ago.
Yeah.
He was the guy doing all the crazy broad jump and the bench press and all the wild stuff that made people go ooh and ah and all that kind of stuff. And maybe this is where we need to transition, and we'll get to the text board in just a bit at 609-403-0973. Josh Hennig along with Ryan Rothstein here at the Gallery of Bar Booking Games and Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City. Maybe this is where the Sean Desai conversation comes in. Do you think Sean Desai is maybe not dictating, but, giving a grocery list, telling Howie, hey, you gave Jonathan Gannon XYZ last year. These are the things I need this year.
I don't think so. Just based off of history and based off of what seems to work for this organization as far as personalities. I don't believe that the coaches have a massive impact Not saying they have no voice.
Well, Sirianni says that him and Howie talk every day, and they talk about all these things.
That's great. They can talk about it, right? But then how much is Howie actually following through with maybe something Sirianni wants that he doesn't agree with?
Well,
and
it's a catch-22. Because on one hand, when Howie listened to Doug Peterson, they drafted Jalen Reagor and Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
So, half and half.
Right.
One you got grossly wrong,
one
you got surprisingly right.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, on one hand, yes, you want your coach to have a say in the conversation.
Absolutely.
But I don't want my coach, I don't want Sean Desai going into Howie Roseman's office and saying, if you don't draft Jalen Carter, I'm going to, whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm conflicted on this point because you're right. Howie has a history of getting some of these moves right. But as we just noted, he's gotten some of these things wrong too.
But that's just like walking into Ocean and putting $5 on a roulette number. I mean, that's how I look at draft selection. Like, you can be the smartest guy in the room. You can have the best team in the world. You don't have a crystal ball. You're not going to get every pick right. You're not going to get every decision right. So that's just part of it as well. There's a lot that goes into it. I would love to see what the listeners are texting in.
Well, Cole from LBI checks in at 609-403-0973 here into the Sports Bash. Cole says, I think the Eagles will be a pretty good team, but I think the Bradbury and Slay contracts will age similarly to the Alshon contract. Cole goes on to say, I think it's a bad move to choose two older guys to come back out of the free agents. Eagles really need to keep one of either Hargrave or CJ, but losing both is really tough. That's from Cole and LBI. There's two different things there.
Yeah, there is.
One, we got to remember, Michael, Bradbury is about, 3 years younger than Darius
He's 29.
Slay. Yeah, he's 3 years younger.
But he'll be 32 at the end of his contract.
Right. So I don't know if that's really, I would call that old for corners.
I think it is. If you're pushing 30, if you're 30 in the NFL, you're old. You can get someone at 21.
Well, you could, but it doesn't mean that's good. That's
no, I know, but 21 to 24.
Look what happened to the Arizona Cardinals. They told Patrick Peterson, you're too old, and then everyone they've replaced since him sucks.
Well, and that's the scary part of this, but that's not always the answer. Just because there's an unknown on the other side of the door doesn't mean you don't walk through it.
Sure. And I think the other problem is Alshon had an injury history before he got to Philadelphia. I remember that was the thing that we talked about me and Mike Yell talked about because I was producing for Mike at that point back then. And we remember talking about, hey, Alshon in Chicago at South Carolina, he had injury issues. So when he came to Philadelphia, remember everyone was complaining, how can you give this guy a contract if he can't stay healthy?
He's never on the field, yeah.
Right. Whereas I think Slay and Bradbury's history is a little bit, less of a concern when it comes to the injury issue. Is that fair?
Yeah, but you just jinxed it. So now they're both going to be out for the season.
Well, luck and jinxes only work for those who believe in it. So,
that's right. I know.
I don't believe.
Fair enough.
But I think that point you brought up is, you should have kept either Hargrave or CJ. It's really tough. And I think that's the bigger thing that Cole from LBI says, Ryan, is that, ideally you wanted to keep one of those guys. Now, to be fair, Hargrave was getting psycho money no matter what.
Yeah, you couldn't do that. Physically impossible.
But if you go by the people reporting, and we'll get into more of this with John McMullen and Jeff Mosher later in the show, the reporting out there is that you had a deal on the table for CJ Garner Johnson. And according to a lot of reports, guys like Marcus Epps, CJ Garner Johnson, TJ Edwards, these guys went into the market expecting big money, and teams basically just laughed at them.
Yeah. That it seems like the market really shifted this offseason. And we can get more into that with our insiders that we have, as you mentioned, Josh. But you have to give credit to Howie as well, because Howie always does his homework and he knows what the market is going to be. So he brings something on a platter to these free agents that are Eagles and says, all right, this is what I'm going to give you, knowing the market isn't going to give them any more than that. And it's like, you can walk, right? And if you somehow get a bigger deal, fine. But if not, I know I'm offering you a fair, reasonable market valuable deal, if that makes sense.
We on the other side, Josh Hennig, filling for Mike Gill, usually alongside Ryan Rothstein here at the Gallery Bar Booking Games at Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City. Get your game on at the Gallery Bar Booking Games. Go for the sports scene. Go for the endless screens. And they're not kidding when they mean endless screens. I mean, there's more screens than you can count in this room, at least from where I'm sitting. You go for the win. Go to the Gallery. Go to Ocean. For more information, visit oceanac.com. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. More your text on the other side. Plus, did the Eagles avoid a scare with C.J. Garner Johnson and maybe was unforeseen? Well, former NFL safety Ryan Rothstein had an interesting comment about C.J. He's a guy who played for the Saints, covers the Saints. He knows a lot about a lot of different things, covers the SEC. C.J. played in the SEC as well. We'll get to those comments a little bit later as well. And, of course, don't forget, you can join the conversation as well, like just Cole from LBI did, 609-403-0973. I see at least two more texts we got to get to on the other side. Keep them coming throughout the show. We are live from the Gallery Bar Booking Games Ocean Casino Resort, 2 to 6 p.m. on the Sports National 97.3 ESPN.
The excitement of a big play.
He scores! The power play goal and a quick wrister.
And all the drama of sports.
Wide open 3-ball. Cashes it in. Harris knocked down a 3. That should do it.
All in one place. 97.3 ESPN.
This hour brought to you by Xfinity.
Everything is changing so fast. Back in my day, we were lucky if we could get one video to load. But now with the Xfinity 10G network, you can power a house full of devices at once with ultra-low lag. The future starts now. Restrictions apply. Actual speeds vary and not guaranteed.
Breaking news.
Tax refund shock is everywhere, but what is it?
My tax refund shrank.
Mine too.
The culprit? Pandemic-related stimulus payments and tax credits expiring. In this reporter's opinion, you need a tax expert.
Hey guys, Jackson Hewitt guarantees your biggest refund.
And tax prep is 50% off? Going there now.
50% off is a limited time offer for new clients filing at participating locations. Max value $200. Visit jacksonhewitt.com/50 for terms.
With Mega Millions now up to $272 million, what are you waiting for? A $2 chance could make you Jersey's next mega winner. After all, anything can happen in Jersey. Kindle Auto Plaza has the area's largest selection of pre-owned vehicles of all makes and models. With over 80 pre-owned vehicles on their huge 100-acre lot. Everything from sporty coupes to SUVs to trucks. Kindle offers the area's best buying experience, easy and hassle-free, with 60 years of customer satisfaction and community service. Discover why Kindle customers are so loyal. Shop for your next pre-owned vehicle at Kindle Auto Plaza, exit 10 of the Parkway on Stone Harbor Boulevard, or at KindleAutoplaza.com.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you're always looking for ways to position your operation to create opportunities and move on them faster. With Bank of America, you get access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2023 Bank of America, N.A.
Deb's constipation with belly pain, discomfort, and bloating kept giving her grief. She talked to her doctor to get some relief. Deb had irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C, which was a start. Saying yes to Linzess helped her do her part.
Linzess, or linaclotide, is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. Linzess works differently than laxatives. It lets you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2 years old. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. There could be more to your story with IBS-C. Talk to a doctor today. Say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS. Sponsored by AbbVie and Ironwood Pharmaceuticals.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, trunk lids, license plate holders, and headlights. They've got lots of headlights. When you need parts, get it right the first time with eBay Guaranteed Fit. When you see the check, you know that part's going to fit. eBay Motors. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
We give them cute names like Muffin Top, Love Handles, or Bingo Wings, but we still can't stand them. These local deposits of fat can be quite stubborn to remove even when we eat well and exercise. Dr. Lyle M. Back offers liposuction that removes the fat and sculpts those problem areas away. So if you're tired of that fat on your stomach, thighs, buttocks, or back of arms, call Dr. Lyle M. Back today at 856-MAKEOVER. That's 856-MAKEOVER. And visit ilovelylback.com.
A good work partner knows what you need before you need it. That's how it feels when you work with Cintas. Your dedicated Cintas service reps get to know your business and have the industry knowledge that can help you prepare for what's ahead. They'll deliver your team's workwear freshly laundered. Make sure your first aid and safety supplies, mats, mops, and towels are stocked when you need them. And your fire extinguishers are inspected and in working order. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Oh, yeah, it's on at Matt Blatt Nissan.
It's buyback March at Matt Blatt Nissan. So bring any trade because AJ, the trade man, wants to buy your vehicle today. AJ pays $500 more than CarMax. So you get more dough.
Oh,
for
we're
your
living.
ride
We're
and
living.
then
Everything's
drive home
good.
in any new Nissan, Altima, Rogue, or Pathfinder with zero down.
Of course.
Zero
What else would I be
payments for
living?
90 days and zero interest. Or take $5,000 off
Yeah,
MSRP
no, everything's
on
smooth
every
like
new Nissan Titan. And only Matt Blatt Nissan has a 4-day love it or leave it return policy.
Oh, yeah, it's on at Matt Blatt Nissan.
Have a job clearing $350 per week? We want to approve you today. And AJ wants your trade, but only at MattBlattNissan.com. Rate qualifications exist with approved credit. $27.78 per thousand financed on in-stock 2023 Rogues, Pathfinder, Ultima. Not all will qualify. Go to MattBlattNissan.com for complete details. Or call 844-917-4758. Price includes all costs to be paid by consumer, except for licensing, registration, and taxes. Doc 589. Sale price $31,774. Expires 3/31/23. It's on at Matt Blatt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township.
Now, back to the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN.
Josh Hennig filling in for Mike Gill back here at the Gallery Bar Booking Games at Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City, alongside Ryan Rothstein at Wise Rye on Twitter. I'm just at Josh Hennig on Twitter. I don't got a fancy name on Twitter. But what is fancy is the people texting in on the text board. We'll get to them more now before we get to Mike McGarry coming up in about 12 minutes. 609-403-0973 is the text board. Don't forget, John McMullen from Jacob Media, talking Eagles NFL with him at 3 o'clock, and Inside the Birds with Jeff Mosher coming up at football at 4. And we'll get into the Sixers winners of 8 straight a little bit later in the show. Didn't think I'd be saying that today, but you know what? We are. So it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
They come back from one home game, by the way. What a ridiculous schedule is that?
Yeah, I know. Don't get me started. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, the NBA's got to do something about their schedules because it's the stupidest thing in the world. It's like the NBA is the only sport that like puts out a schedule that in no other world would you ask people to do.
Yeah, and they think they're helping. That's the scary part.
Right, they're not.
It's like you're making it worse.
You're creating more opportunities for guys to load manage.
Exactly.
That's so dumb.
My goodness.
Over on the text board, anonymous texter chimed in and says, I'm hoping the Eagles trade back from 10 and go way outside the box and draft Bijan Robinson, the running back from Texas. The texter says, can you imagine a backfield with Hurts, Robinson, all those receivers, and an unstoppable tight end? It's an unstoppable offense to me. Ryan, Bijan Robinson, yes or no?
No, absolutely not. I just, why? Why would you, listen, fancy, shiny potential of a new toy, I get it. That's not the world we live in. It's not the world that Howie Roseman lives in. So it's just not going to happen. I just don't see any value in getting a running back with your first round draft pick. It does not add up to me. I think there's value later in the draft, even undrafted running back, free agents, or in free agency come June. So no, it just doesn't make sense. I think there's more need and more potential for value elsewhere.
I think if your goal is to win championships, you can't name me a team that had an elite running back that won a championship in recent years. It just doesn't happen. I mean, the Chiefs just won 2 championships. The one year was Isaiah Pacheco. The other year, I don't even remember who it was. That's the problem. Like you can't name who these run. When the Eagles won, it was basically 4 running backs.
Yeah, LeGarrette Blount, Corey Clement, my
Jay
goodness.
Ajayi.
Yeah,
Darren Sproles was on IR. At that point.
Ajayi and Blount, though. Listen, they were past their prime, but they were still relatively big names and valuable.
Big names.
Yeah,
but not
the
best running back in the league.
Yeah, not like cowbell running backs where
Right.
you're giving it to them 25 times.
So, like, Bijan Robinson sounds great if you're building like a Madden Madden team in video games.
You're in franchise mode and all Madden. That's great.
Right.
But I will say this. I hope and pray that Howie Roseman's not done with the running back position because I'm sorry, Penny does nothing for me.
The
You're not
injuries
paying.
concern you.
Yeah, you're not paying him anything if he stays healthy. yeah, awesome. I know he's not going to have a big role here. Doesn't mean he's not going to get hurt. It doesn't mean he's going to provide any type of production that you can even sniff at. So, I am worried about the backfield.
Matt and Kate May chimes in at 609-403-0973. Ryan loves when you guys leave your names, by the way.
Yes, I
on
do.
these texts. Matt says it seems like Howie is setting up for next offseason. They should have a good amount of cap space next year, and they'll have a few comp picks by losing to the players they did this year, which Howie mentioned at this end of the season press conference.
He's always looking ahead, Howie. Like he's never trying to shoot himself in the foot where he's not going to have nothing in the cupboard for the following offseason. But as we started this show, Josh, I also believe he is sort of going, I don't want to say all in, but he's bringing back a lot of aging players. So I don't want to say he's completely setting up for the following offseason when we're just getting started with this one.
The one and only Tom Jackson chimes in at 609-403-0973. Hey, Josh, I can understand not overpaying for Hargrave, but I don't understand letting Edwards leave. He was consistently in on every play possible. That's from Tom Jackson.
What are your thoughts with that, Josh?
Listen, I like TJ Edwards. I thought Edwards was a guy that made sense to keep because you developed him, you made him into something. But for me, I think the reason why Edwards isn't here is less to do with the Eagles, more to do with the fact he wanted to go home. He lives outside of Chicago. He went to Wisconsin for college. Sometimes guys just want to play where they're from. That would have happened with the Flyers if Chuck Fletcher wasn't an imbecile and signed Johnny Gaudreau. Some guys like to come home. Some guys want to play, where they grew up. So I think the Edwards thing was less about the money and it was about – because there were reports that Edwards could have gotten more money from other people, but he wanted to go to the Bears. So
that's interesting. I'd be curious to see other offers he potentially turned down, but it doesn't really matter at this point. I'll ask this to you and Tom and the listeners. Do we not believe we can get another guy at that position that can have similar impact for way cheaper? Let's just be honest.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know who's available out there.
I agree. Yeah, that's fair, but I don't think it's like completely impossible or that challenging. We never know.
Correct, though. It's not the end of the world. I just felt like you already had a guy you could have kept, but for whatever reason, he's not here. You have to move on. Speaking of moving on, we have to address this text that came in.
Okay.
So this anonymous texter texted in, which is always fun when they're anonymous. Like the person who was texting me last week kept calling me bro on every text.
Oh, and you didn't know who they were?
No, they never left their name. Just kept saying, bro, come on, bro, the whole text.
Should have just called him, dude or bruh.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But this guy didn't call me bro, thank goodness. But he actually did say, you don't actually believe Jalen Reagor wasn't Howie's pick. Video evidence of him literally walking around begging for fist bumps. Now, see, we got to correct that because the video with the Howie fist bump, that was Tom Donahue, who wouldn't talk to him at that point. He was mad at him because of the Milton Williams pick. It wasn't the Jalen Reagor pick. Mm-hmm. There were a lot of reports that there was a conflict that year between Milton Williams and who Tom Donahue and some of the other scouts wanted. Now, I think Howie paid off that year for Milton Williams, but the fist bump video was about that. It wasn't about Jalen Reagor. Remember, Jalen Reagor was drafted the year of the COVID stuff. With Roger Goodell in his basement with the super awkward draft.
Yes.
So nobody was actually near each other to fist bump each other.
Right.
That year.
That's a great point by you. That is the be all end all point. But nonetheless, that video is still freaking awesome of Howie looking for a fist bump and no one giving it to him.
It was a classic moment that tells you why Howie's who Howie is.
Yeah.
It's like the video of him and Jason Kelsey taking shots.
So awkward.
Like, Howie's awkward.
Yeah.
It's who he is. Like,
he's just someone, he needs to look himself in the mirror and just be like, listen, I can never even try and be cool. I can never even try.
I guarantee you Howie looks at himself in the mirror and does think he's cool.
Oh, listen, as he should in a sense, but
you know what Howie does? He's got that Super Bowl championship ring on his finger and waves it at himself in the mirror like he's John Cena every morning, being like, I am the greatest. I am Howie Bleepin' Roseman.
I think he puts his ring on, just plays some old school like 90s rap and starts his day like I'm the man.
He does the John Cena, you can't see me with the ring on his finger in front of the mirror.
It's like, Howie, we can see you, and you look pretty ridiculous. So please stop.
But I think that's the point of what you just said. Yeah. Howie's awkward. So it's like, what did you expect from this guy?
Be awkward, bro. Just continue to be you.
But you know what? And Jason Kelsey respected it. Jason Kelsey's sitting there. He's like, I know Howie's awkward. Let Howie have his little goofy moment with me, taking a shot. I will give Howie credit. He pounded that thing pretty good.
Yeah, he did.
He shot that thing down real quick.
He needed it.
he was shooting that shot better than people on St. Patrick's Day were Friday this weekend. When people were at the bars,
That's right. It's a bunch of amateurs out there on St. Patty's Day, but I digress.
When was the last time you went out for St. Patty's Day?
A long time. I retired my St. Patty's Day cape, and all we have is just the film to look back on.
I mean, for me, it's been at least several years.
Yeah,
at minimum, like
6-7 years probably for me.
I mean, just what I did on St. Patty's Day this year? I worked.
There you go.
How
we evolved, man.
I stayed away from the chaos.
That's it.
Now, don't get me wrong. I did go out the day before.
Yeah, but it wasn't like St. Patty's Day chaos going out.
No, it was actually better that way.
Yeah, much better.
I got to hang out with friends, got to see some cool people.
There you go.
And
watch some March Madness.
Of course.
All right.
All
right, just checking.
I mean, a lot of people were upset that Arizona lost on Thursday. That was funny.
Yeah, who could be upset at that? I don't care if you had Arizona to win the title.
They did. People had Arizona win.
Who cares? Like you have to go into March Madness knowing most likely your bracket will be busted, and you have to enjoy the upsets.
Oh, before we get the break, where do you stand on the were you excited or cool about the idea of the Jersey schools making it, or did you just not care?
No, I thought it was awesome. How can you not, right? Like FDU, you're saying, man, can they be St. Peter's Part 2? And obviously Princeton now in the Sweet 16. I like it, man. I'm all for it. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a diehard Princeton fan, but
no. Well, it was funny because on 97.3 ESPN we had all the games each day: Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And Doug Gottlieb was part of the Westwood One coverage, and Gottlieb brought it up. He said, he says it's a shame people can't bet in Jersey because it seems like every year now a Jersey team is going to pull an upset now.
I know.
So it's like, he kind of threw that little shot out there on the radio waves. Yeah.
You have to drive to the Walt Whitman Bridge, and if you want to bet on Princeton to do anything.
Whitman Bridge, you got to get across the bridge.
Well, you know what I mean.
Some of the GPSs.
You do have to get across it. Yes, that is
I know some of the apps, they literally will not let you do anything until you're completely across the bridge.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely.
I've seen this in real. I remember I was with somebody one time, and they were trying to do a bet, and I'm looking over at them, and I'm like, you might not be able to make that bet to actually get across the bridge. And they kept trying to refresh.
Yep.
And I'm like, wow, I'm sitting here with the degenerate.
That's when you know you're a degenerate. Yep.
Yeah. But speaking of degenerates, no, I'm just kidding. Josh Hennig along with Ryan Rothstein live at the Gallery Bar booking games at Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City. Coming up on the other side, we'll get into more of the NFL offseason, the NFC East, and some Sixers winners of 8 straight with Mike McGarry from the Press of Atlantic City. Of course, thanks to our guy back in the studio producing the show, Danny Ryan. He's pushing the buttons, making sure we stay on the air. So we appreciate him doing that back in the studio. We're going to hit the break now so we get to Mike McGarry, get a good, 10-plus minutes in with Mike on the other side. Josh Hennig, Ryan Rothstein, and, of course, your text throughout the hours. 609-403-0973 is the text board.
You haven't downloaded the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app? Well, go get it now to follow all the Philly sports teams at 97.3ESPN.com. Powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
With GM financing, qualified buyers excludes Corvette.
It's back. That's right. March Markdown is back at Bennett Chevrolet. And this year, the savings are bigger and better than ever, with huge savings on every vehicle, because we need to move out over 200 of them right now. Believe it or not, Bennett Chevrolet is selling new vehicles at GM supplier employee pricing for everybody. Plus, there's available 0% financing. And Bennett is giving a minimum $10,000 for the worst clunker towards any pre-owned vehicle in stock. That's at least $10,000 for total junk. Just imagine how much Bennett is paying for good trades. And Bennett's non-commissioned sales team is a delight to work with because they're paid on your satisfaction, not how much you spend. Don't miss March Markdowns going on now at Bennett Chevrolet, and get your new Chevy at GM supplier employee pricing, 0% available financing, and at least $10,000 for any trade towards any pre-owned in stock. Find new roads at Bennett Chevy, Egg Harbor Township, and BennettChevy.com.
Hey, y'all, this is your girl, Cheryl Underwood, and I want to tell you something. My digestive system used to make me feel sluggish, but those days are over. Now I feel great. That's because I increased my fiber intake with the Metamucil 2-week challenge, and I'm still hooked. I just took Metamucil every day for 14 days, and it's really that easy. Metamucil traps and removes the waste that weighs you down, so you feel lighter and more energetic. Now I never want to go back to that heavy feeling. Are you ready for the Metamucil 2-week challenge? For a coupon and daily support, sign up at Metamucil.com today.
Get in on all the action throughout the month of March with Madness Zone at the Gallery Bar Booking Games in Ocean Casino Resort. Take in the college basketball tournament with a panoramic view of all the games, a beverage in your hand, a bet placed on your favorite team, and an atmosphere like no other. Watch, bet, eat, and drink all tournament long at the Gallery Bar Booking Games in Ocean Casino Resort. For more information, visit theoceanac.com. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Dazzling decal on Daisy's Donuts window. Bold banner at Barry's Barbershop. Prominent poster at Penny's on Park Place.
This is your sign. Well, signs. To try Staples and see difference. Get $15 off signs, banners, and posters when you spend $75 or more.
From Staples, and I couldn't miss it.
Ends 4/15. Visit staplesconnect.com/printbig for details.
Do you love a good cigar almost as much as your family? Well, maybe that's an exaggeration, but you can find that perfect cigar at Smokers Haven. With 5 New Jersey locations, Smokers Haven has the finest selection of cigars in the area, like Ashton, My Father's, Romeo and Julieta, Monte Cristo, and more. All from the finest tobacco leaves and hand-rolled by the world's finest cigar makers. All locations are fully open. Stop in and let them help you find the perfect cigar to pair with your life. See all they have and their locations at smokershavennj.com.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stopped, opt out. Go to nomoredraftywindows.com for full offer details.
Attention all homeowners. Do you know when to replace your windows? Feeling too hot or cold? It's time to replace. Fog between the glass. Time to replace. Spending too much on expensive energy that literally goes out the window? It's definitely time to replace. If you've put off replacing windows in your home because it's too expensive, here's great news. You can now get a free in-home window consultation and free price quote from Renewal by Andersen, the company with the most 5-star reviews among leading full-service window replacement companies. And right now, you can save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. Just text PLACE to 200-300 for your free consultation on top-quality affordable windows or patio doors for $0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for a year. That's right. You don't pay a dime for an entire year. Plus, save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. But hurry, these big dollar savings end this month. Text PLACE to 200-300 right now. Text the word PLACE to 200-300. Don't wait. Text PLACE to 200-300.
Jack Daniels has always made whiskey, and if they have it their way, they always will. But there's one thing Jack can't make more of: moments. Those are on us to create. You see, basketball fans, we only get one shot at this thing called life, so let's make sure we're making the most of every moment in March and always. Whether it's showing up for our team or sipping a glass of Jack while cheering at the radio, don't let a single moment go to waste. Make it count. Jack Daniels. Please drink responsibly. Tennessee Whiskey, 40% alcohol by volume. Jack Daniels Distillery, Lynchburg, Tennessee. Jack Daniels and Old Number 7, registered trademarks. Copyright 2022. Jack Daniels, all rights reserved.
I thought learning a language would be too much work, but Babbel makes learning fun. J'aime Babbel.
Babbel's lessons only take 10 or 15 minutes, and soon you turn and realize, hey, I'm starting to speak another language. How'd that happen?
Babbel isn't robots talking. You learn words and phrases from real native speakers. I was ready for real-life conversations in just a few weeks. So easy.
Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
With Mega Millions now up to $272 million, what are you waiting for? A $2 chance could make you Jersey's next mega winner. After all, anything can happen in Jersey.
Your next BMW is closer than you think. Visit BMW of Atlantic City for exceptional offers on our entire lineup of your favorite new in-stock BMW models. Located in Egg Harbor Township and online at bmwatlanticcity.com.
Now, back to more sports. Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's sports leader.
2:45 here on the Sports Bash. Josh Hennig along with Ryan Rothstein live at the Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City. The Gallery Bar Booking Games with a gazillion TVs. Everything you need is here at the Gallery Bar Booking Games. So let's get into more of the different things. NFC East, Eagles moves, Sixers winners of 8 straight. Mike McGarry for the Press of Atlantic City joins us here on the Sports Bash here on 97.3 ESPN. Mike, welcome back in. How was your weekend?
Very good, very busy. A lot of sports. And speaking of that, where is Gil? It's the busiest time of the year. You guys are working. I'm working. How is he off today? I mean, March Madness, NFL free agency, baseball starting in a couple days.
It's not tough being Mike Gill.
Where is he?
Yeah.
That conversation is above my pay grade.
It's inexcusable.
Exactly.
Mike, let's get into first the NFC East. For where we stand right now, the Eagles, additions and subtractions. The Eagles have lost 5 defensive starters. Cowboys add Brandon Cooks and Stephon Gilmore. Giants are making, what we would qualify as smart, under the radar moves in some cases. What is your perspective on the NFC East as of March 20th?
Well, as of March 20th, the Eagles are still the best team in the division, but the gap between them and the Cowboys and the Giants is narrowed. I mean, I think that's obvious. And it was an excellent division last season, and it's shaping up to be an excellent division this season. But the Eagles are fortunate. All the teams are fortunate. They don't play this Sunday. They don't play next Sunday. They don't play for a couple of months. You got a draft. You don't know what's going to happen with trades, etc. Late signings. Think of all the stuff the Eagles did last year after this date. But right now, the Eagles have some issues that have to be addressed, as do all the teams. But I'd still take the Eagles over the Cowboys and the Giants, though the gap between them, I believe, is narrowed.
Mike McGarry, I'm curious to get your opinion on Howie's decision and just, the team overall, their decisions to keep Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, Slay, Bradbury. I'm not going to say Kelsey because Kelsey is still like the best center on planet Earth, even at his age. But the aging veterans, it's clear that it's pretty much, for the most part, a run-it-back type of mentality. Could be good for the short term, but maybe not so much looking ahead. What's your thought on how all this went down?
Yeah, I mean, people said after the 2017 Super Bowl, right, the problem was that they got sentimental and brought back a lot of the older players from that group. Now, they seem to be doing the same sort of thing here. I think the thing that I would question is, if you have $10 million to give Fletcher Cox, which is okay, you don't have $8.1 million to give CJ Gardner. I mean, it seems to me that not bringing back CJ sort of brought that issue into the forefront there. If you bring back CJ, then maybe we're not wondering about, you're just bringing back aging veterans because you didn't bring back your youngest free agent.
Well, Mike, it sounds like to me that you don't buy into the reporting out there then that says that the Eagles offered CJ a multi-year deal with more than $8 million involved. It sounds like to me you're saying that, hey, if the Eagles offered him that money, he would have taken it then.
Well, no, I buy into the reporting. I believe all the reporting is accurate. I just don't care. I don't care about the offer. I don't care that CJ's agents are maybe not the best people or the best at their job. Let me say that, the best at their job, that maybe they bundled mishandled the negotiations. All I care about is where the player is. And it seems to me that's your job as a general manager. Okay, you made an offer. They thought they could get more. They couldn't get more. I don't see then why you automatically let him walk. All I care about is the player. And if you could have had him back for $8.1 million, why not? I believe all the reporting is accurate. I just don't care. All I care about is the player on the field or not, and he's not. And to me, it seems like the Eagles could have, that's a reasonable price for CJ. It would seem to me, if you're going to offer him 1 year, a little bit more than $8 million, that seems to me something the team could have got done.
Talking to Mike McGarry for the Press of Atlantic City here. Mike, let's get some Sixers in here because the Sixers have won 8 straight games. And Embiid is making a strong case for MVP. So are the Sixers that we have seen go 10 out of 13 since the All-Star break, is this the real Sixers, Mike?
Yeah, right now you have to say so. I mean, the Sixers are absolutely rolling, and I think Joel Embiid is going to, clinch the MVP in the next couple of days, maybe even this weekend with the big games that they have, where they have Golden State Friday. I think they have Phoenix on Saturday, and then they have Denver, a week from today. I think strong performances this weekend will, clinch the MVP for him. Plus, they've got games coming up with Milwaukee and Boston, on April 2nd and April 4th. So a good 2-week stretch here by Embiid should clinch the MVP. There's just questions that the Sixers have when it comes to the playoffs. And one is Embiid going to be able to be healthy throughout the whole entire run? And James Harden's playoff history in deciding games is not good. So those are two questions that can't be answered until the playoffs start. But right now, boy, the Sixers, to me, and I didn't think they could a couple of weeks ago or a couple of months ago, but they certainly look like a team more than capable of winning an NBA title right now.
Is it different this year, Mike McGarry? Right, that's a question I was asking over the weekend to different fans, and I was getting a mixed bag of responses because this Sixers team has a Phillies vibe to them. And what I mean is, for a decade, the Phillies choked in September, fell short of making the postseason, and it was just like a wake me up when it happens type of a vibe. And you're starting to get that vibe, that vibe is clear with the Sixers and their second round exit. So do you watch this team, Mike McGarry, and say, you know what, this year will be different?
It feels different now, right? But now doesn't count. Will it feel different when the playoffs start? And they can't, in fairness to them, they can't answer the questions until the playoffs start. So they're not going to answer the question today. So if you're just judging by this regular season as opposed to past regular seasons, yeah, they seem to be better and more prepared for the playoffs. But all the questions, Embiid's health, Doc Rivers coaching and game strategy, James Harden in closing games. And I'll throw in, the thing that concerns me most about them is their defense. I mean, Harden and Maxey, that great game against the Milwaukee Bucks, they closed with Harden, Maxey, and George Niang on the court, and they did score 48 points in the fourth quarter and won that game. But if you're going to play those three down the stretch, you better score 48 because the opposition's getting 47 at least. So, it feels different. In fairness to them, they can't answer the questions till March, but it feels different, and they look like a team capable of winning the NBA title right now.
Mike, before we let you go, I wanted to say, my concern is less about the defense than it is about the fact that this team averages 14 turnovers a game in their 3 losses in the All-Star break, and in their 10 wins, they average 9 turnovers. That's a huge difference. And in some of those losses, you could argue that those turnovers could have lost them the game. So to me, if Joel isn't, handing the ball off to the other team and Harden isn't trying to get too fancy with the basketball, I think the turnover thing is way more of an issue for me, at least.
Yeah, well, and that goes to the classic Sixer question that we've had ever since Joel Embiid has joined the roster, is who is creating shots, who is handling the ball, who is creating offense in the fourth quarter of a playoff game when the game slows down and it's 102, and you're walking the ball up the floor. In the past, Embiid has had issues with turnovers in the fourth quarter of playoff games. I present for you Game 7 against the Atlanta Hawks a couple of years ago as, Exhibit A. Again, those are questions, that they can't answer until the playoffs actually start. But as of right now in the regular season, they seem better equipped to answer those questions than they have at the end of any of the past regular seasons.
Follow him on Twitter at AC Press McGarry on Twitter. Covers Sixers, Phillies, everything for the Press Landscape was high school sports. Mike, appreciate you jumping on. And when you come back on Wednesday, talk with the one and only Mike Gill.
All right, guys. Looking forward to it. See you later. Thanks.
Thanks, man.
By the way, Ryan, we just saw the breaking news flash across the screen. Rick Pitino officially going home. He's officially going to St. John's.
Yeah, that's not a surprise, but good for him, man. Good for him.
I mean, listen, you're 70-something years old. And you wanna go coach? Or you want to coach?
I'm 70-something?
No, Rick Pitino.
I know. It's good for him, man. Good for him. He did a great job at Iona, and he deserves a shot like that. And I think he's going to have success at St. John's. I really do.
Coming up on the other side, John McMullen, Jacob Media Eagles, and NFL Insider. He will join us coming up on the other side, and we'll get to more of your texts. We got a plethora of them at 609-403-0973. We will get to on the other side. And don't forget still to come Football at 4 with Jeff Mosher. More on the Eagles with him. And tonight, former college basketball coach Scott Spinelli from the Believe Podcasting Network. He will join us as it has really been a March Madness. We got to talk to Scott about some of that madness tonight on the Sports Bash. All that and more still to come. Josh Hennig, filling in for Mike Gill, along with Ryan Rothstein. on 97.3 ESPN.
It's Sixers basketball tonight on 97.3 ESPN with the voice of the 76ers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
Up by Melton. Law play. Daniel House with a right hand.
Hey, Josh, you there?
Oh, man.
It's Sixers Bulls. Tonight, coverage begins at 7 p.m. Philadelphia 76ers basketball on your radio home of the Sixers in South Jersey. 97.3 ESPN.
Hey, Coach, we need to score. What's the call?
We're going to wing it. We're calling the pick.
The pick?
Yeah, the one, the only, the original Piccalilli Inn to score some of South Jersey's best wings and homestyle favorites.
But, Coach, it's the middle of the game.
Pre-game, post-game, during the game, the pick's wings, tails, and ears are always the right call. They're right on Route 206 in Chemung, or check them out on Facebook. Now, who wants mild and who wants hot?
The Piccalilli Inn.
The all-new Nissan Ariya is a fully loaded EV. It's brimming with style and power.
Up to 389 horses of it.
Innovation and intelligence.
E-Force all-wheel drive.
It'll pin you to your seat.
Your very plush seat.
The all-new, all-electric Nissan Ariya. Nissan Ariya with E-Force expected availability early 2023. E-Force cannot prevent collisions or provide enhanced traction in all conditions. E-Force and 389 horsepower available on Platinum Plus. Nissan calculation using 1-foot rollout testing with long-range battery and E-Force only in Sport Mode with E-Step off. These results are for comparison only and should not be attempted on public roads. Drive responsibly. See NissanUSA.com for details.
Let's see. There's the business plan, vendors and inventory, licenses and applications, logos and signage, hired staff. What am I forgetting?
The most important piece of the puzzle in business is your marketing. And if you don't tell people about your business, how would they know it exists? And these days, that marketing has to include your online presence. Before anyone walks through the door or fills their cart with your products, they've already checked you out online. So what did they find when they searched for you? Did you show up first? Does your website make a great first impression? Is it up to date? Chances are you don't know the first thing about web design or SEO, and that's okay. Town Square South Jersey has the solution. It's simple, fast, affordable, and it's free to check out. Just go to townsquarelocal.com. You can even see how many local customers in South Jersey are looking for products and services like yours. Let us help you get people through the door so you can concentrate on making them return customers. Just go to townsquarelocal.com.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Tara, quote, "My doctor wanted me to do saline rinses for my allergies, but I've never been able to successfully use a neti pot. Navage uses suction power, so it's foolproof. There are nights when I'll have particularly bothersome allergies. I'll bust it out, and the results are immediate. It's such a relief. It's become a lifesaver," unquote. She's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, Navage, clean nose, healthy life.
Kindle Auto Plaza has the area's largest selection of pre-owned vehicles of all makes and models. With over 80 pre-owned vehicles on their huge 100-acre lot. Everything from sporty coupes to SUVs to trucks. Kindle offers the area's best buying experience, easy and hassle-free, with 60 years of customer satisfaction and community service. Discover why Kindle customers are so loyal. Shop for your next pre-owned vehicle at Kindle Auto Plaza, exit 10 of the Parkway on Stone Harbor Boulevard, or at KindleAutoplaza.com.
It's March, and you know what that means? Taxes are almost due. Jackson Hewitt can help you win tax season. That's the sound of your maximum tax refund. The sound of getting 50% off tax prep. The sound of many of our competitors' prices going up. And the sound of getting to your nearest Jackson Hewitt. Hurry in for 50% off tax prep before this offer expires April 9th. Limited time offer for new clients filing at participating locations. Max value $200. Visit jacksonhewitt.com/50 for terms.
I guess one time isn't going to kill me.
It's totally safe. We do this all the time.
There's no way these drugs are laced, right?
Trust me, you're going to be fine.
I just need to forget everything. It'll be fun.
A lethal dose of fentanyl is just 4 grains of sand. It can hide in any drug. So no matter what you and your friends think, what you can't see will kill you. Don't die to get high. Fentanyl is fatal. Get the whole truth at CamdenCounty.com/fentanyl.
South Jersey's play-by-play home for the Eagles, Sixers, and Flyers. He scored! 97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD Millville, Atlantic City, a Town Square media station. This is the Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN. Now, live inside the Matt Black Kia Studios, here's Mike Gill.
I am not Mike Gill, but I am still filling in for him here, Josh Hennig, hanging out with the one and only Ryan Rothstein at Wise Rye on Twitter. We are going to get into all of the Eagles news as apparently, according to Twitter, CJ Garner Johnson sounds like he's a little butthurt. He's a little sour about how the offseason has gone for him.
Yeah.
So to get into the latest with the Eagles, and listen, we're only about a week into this, so, things could change as we get close to the season, but we'll get into all of it right now. It's been a busy weekend, and it's been a while since I talked with John McMullen. Of course, he is the co-host of Bird 365 on the Jacob Media YouTube channel, at JF McMullen on Twitter, and he joins us right now here on the Sports Bash. John, welcome in. How you doing today? Doing good. So, we see that CJ Garner Johnson is making some pretty ridiculous accusations on Twitter. Is this an example of maybe the reason why he's not here is because of these maturity issues?
Johnny Mac, I'm reading a variety of different reports surrounding this situation with CJ and just Slay and Bradbury. So one of them I've stumbled upon is Eagles worked on getting a deal done with CJ and his agent. They didn't take the offer, and then a week later, 5 or 6 days later, they said, "All right, well, because we already did a deal with Slay and Bradbury, the money's gone, or that allotted money for the secondary is all filled up." But I say that's sort of like a baloney type of response. Either you have a priority to bring him back or you do not have a priority to bring him back. So I guess just your thought on that and fill us in on what's right and wrong.
John, we've heard a lot of reporting out there, and you and I talked about this a little bit last week about the fact that, a lot of guys went into the market expecting big money, and that, a lot of these guys didn't get the money that they were expecting. And it's not just CJ Garner Johnson. It was Marcus Epps, for example. It was a lot of different guys. So how much has that impacted some of this offseason? The fact that the Eagles basically kind of let these guys go out there and be like, look, you guys think you can get more money, go for it. And these guys realizing that teams weren't going to overpay for their services.
John, is there any, based off what the Eagles have done so far in free agency, is there a tell, so to speak, on what they will do now come draft day? Mm.
Talk with John McMullen from Jacob Media, Birds 365 every morning on the Jacob Media YouTube channel, Monday through Friday. John McMullen and Jody Mack at JF McMullen on Twitter is where you can give him a follow. John, we were talking about in the first hour about Howie's history of making so many additions later in the offseason. People are trying to crown teams like the Cowboys right now. Oh, look at what they've done so far. But I'll never forget, LeGarrette Blount was in May. Bradbury was in June. CJ was in, August last year. So, yeah. So it's like, how much of this is just, hey, be patient with, lack of a better term, be patient with the Roseman process, and let's not give them a grade on March 20th. Right, they can't get any worse.
Well.
I mean, hey, listen. I mean, it didn't go too bad for Doug in Jacksonville last year with all the money they spent on Christian Kirk. So sometimes, every once in a while, it does work for some of these teams.
And you get a deal, and you get a deal. John McMullen, give him a follow at JF McMullen. Johnny Mac, let's talk about the backfield for a second with the Philadelphia Eagles. We all pretty much expected and anticipated Miles Sanders to pack his bags. He goes down to Carolina with the Panthers, 4 years, $25 million, 13 guaranteed. You bring in Penny on a team favorable deal, someone that's been injury prone. I'm not saying that's the replacement, but what is going on with the running back position? I'm sure there's more work to be done, correct? Mm-hmm.
I mean, think about that right there. I mean, if the guy who's toting the rock the most by the time we have this conversation in December or January, he's not even on the team yet. You know, I know Eagle fans are going to lose their mind over that. Speaking of that, John, what is next for the Eagles right now? Because obviously, you know, March 20th, you know, we're a week into the quote unquote official, you know, unofficial NFL offseason at this point. So what is next for Philadelphia now that we've gotten through the first several days of this wave?
Love that aisle. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Mac, quick before we let you run here, man. The Eagles finally bring in Marcus Mariota. Quick thoughts. All right. That's amazing.
Listen, somewhere Chip Kelly is very happy right now. That's all I know. Chip Kelly is sitting somewhere with a smile on his face, like, Marcus Mariota finally got to Philadelphia about 8 years after I tried to make it happen. No, because guess what? If it would have worked 1 year too long, maybe you don't get Doug Peterson, maybe you don't win a Super Bowl, and maybe the whole domino effect. You know, it's like the butterfly effect thing concept. It's the idea that if one thing doesn't happen, the other things don't happen, right?
Yeah.
Well, John, that's why I asked you and not Doug, you know.
There you go.
John McMullen, a man of deeper intellectual thought than most, at JF McMullen on Twitter. Birds365 on the Jacob Media YouTube channel tomorrow morning, where you can watch him roll his eyes when Jody Mack brings up Justin Fields for the 2000th time. John, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks, man.
Josh Hennig along with Ryan Rothstein here on the Sports Bash, filling for Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN, being brought to you by The Gallery. Yes, we are at The Gallery Bar booking games today at Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City. Go for the sports scene and go for the endless screens. Go to The Gallery, go to Ocean, go for the win. For more information, visit theoceanac.com. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Ryan, we have a plethora of text to get to on the other side. 609-403-0973. We don't want to deprive the people anymore. We'll get to them on the other side. And, of course, still to come, more football talk with Football at 4. Jeff Mosher from the Inside the Birds podcast. We'll talk with him as well. Still to come here on 97.3 ESPN FM and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle.
The excitement of a big play.
Double it and jams it. Joel and B with a right hand jam.
And all the drama of sports.
Johnny good throw. Back in front. The one-timer. Oh, Hart lunges over. Makes a great save.
All in one place. 97.3 ESPN.
Get in on all the action throughout the month of March with Madness Zone at the Gallery Bar Booking Games in Ocean Casino Resort. Take in the college basketball tournament with a panoramic view of all the games, a beverage in your hand, a bet placed on your favorite team, and an atmosphere like no other. Watch, bet, eat, and drink all tournament long at the Gallery Bar Booking Games in Ocean Casino Resort. For more information, visit theoceanac.com. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Josh, quote, "After walking around my whole life being a mouth breather, I was excited to try Navage. I read the directions carefully, pressed the button, and oh my gosh, what a sensation. So much mucus, so much crud, but oh sweet, merciful air I can finally breathe you through my nose. Never have I ever taken such an amazing breath in my life. This is a life changer," unquote. He's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, Navage, clean nose, healthy life.
This world has its limits, but in the all-new, all-electric Nissan Ariya, you've got a world of possibilities. You can leave it all behind in serene interiors, or you can go after it with available e-Force all-wheel drive. Go your way in the all-new, all-electric Nissan Ariya. Nissan Ariya with e-Force not yet available for purchase. Expected availability early 2023, subject to change. E-Force all-wheel drive is an optional feature. E-Force cannot prevent collisions or provide enhanced traction in all conditions. Always monitor traffic and weather conditions.
Breaking news.
Tax refund shock is everywhere, but what is it?
My tax refund shrank.
Mine too.
The culprit? Pandemic-related stimulus payments and tax credits expiring. In this reporter's opinion, you need a tax expert.
Hey guys, Jackson Hewitt guarantees your biggest refund.
And tax prep is 50% off? Going there now.
50% off is a limited time offer for new clients filing at participating locations. Max value $200. Visit jacksonhewitt.com/50 for terms.
It's time for March Mania, and not just on the courts, but at Calvi Electric too. Now through April 3rd, mention this ad and receive 10% off a full house generator with installation to get you prepared for the upcoming hurricane season. And receive 10% off car charger installation for your electric vehicle when mentioning this ad. For over 110 years, Calvi Electric has been the South Jersey champion for premier electrical commercial work. And now they're bringing all that experience to your home. Visit calvielectric.com.
At Staples, school is always in session, and savings never take a holiday, especially now during Staples Teacher Palooza. You save big on everything for school, like 20% on all Crayola products, up to 40% on brands like Post-it, Papermate, and Elmer's. Plus, 80-count Lysol disinfecting wipes are only $1.99. During Staples Teacher Palooza, teachers save big and so do you, with classroom deals for everybody. But deals end soon, so hurry to Staples today. Offers end 3/25. In-store only while supplies last.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone, America's #1 brakes destination. We have the pads, rotors, drums, shoes, and brake fluids to improve your stopping power. Right now, save 15% when you get any 2 Duralast rotors with a set of Duralast brake pads. Missing a tool? Ask about our free Loan-A-Tool program and borrow the tools you need to get the job done.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the MPD Group 2021. Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool.
I studied Spanish in college and never got fluent. But then I tried Babbel.
Want the most effective way to learn another language? In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel's bite-sized lessons will have you learning another language in as little as 3 weeks.
Babbel gets you speaking quickly about things you actually talk about in the real world.
University studies have shown that using Babbel for 15 hours is equivalent to a semester of college Spanish. If you want to learn a new language, there's no better way than Babbel. Go to Babbel.com to try Babbel for free. That's Babbel.com.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you know that these days, generating growth is a challenge. By teaming with Bank of America, you'll not just stay ahead of the curve, you'll move it. With access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2023 Bank of America, N.A.
This hour brought to you by Xfinity.
Everything is changing so fast. Back in my day, we were lucky if we could get one video to load. But now, with the Xfinity 10G network, you can power a house full of devices at once with ultra-low lag. The future starts now. Restrictions apply. Actual speeds vary and not guaranteed.
Now, back to the Sports Dash on 97.3.
Ryan Rothstein next to my right, Josh Hennig filling in for Mike Gill
What's
here
up?
at the Gallery Bar booking games at Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City. Danny Ryan back in the studio, pushing all the buttons, producing the show. Glad to have you guys on board on a Monday here on 97.3 ESPN. As promised, we have texts to get to at 609-403-0973. We asked the people what they think, and they are contributing to the show. So, Ryan, let's get to them here in this segment. An anonymous texter texted in earlier and says, with us losing CJ Garner Johnson, can we get Jalen Mills back?
Why? Do we want Jalen Mills back? We become so obsessed with just what we know and what we used to have.
But that's society, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, how many?
We're getting deep here, but we can dig deep. I'm not afraid.
I mean, listen, I understand I'm not Mike Gill, so I know that I do ask some questions that he wouldn't ask.
So what?
But, my question is, I look at, why do you love Jalen Mills? The same reason why you check your ex's Instagram or Facebook.
Oh, because, don't speak for everyone.
Because sometimes you're curious to see what the heck happened after you left. It's either with Jalen Mills. You look at Jalen Mills and you're like, oh, what's he up to about now? Does he still have the green hair?
What did he do last year? He started 10 games. I'm just looking through his stats. 2 interceptions. He had 31 tackles. He didn't do much last year. I'll sum it up.
Right. So he's the ex that you saw in the beach photo that still looks good enough for you to date them. Maybe not good enough.
You don't want to settle.
Right. Exactly. You don't want to settle. You don't want to settle for Jalen Mills. But there's still a part of Jalen Mills that looks appealing because you see their Instagram photo. You're like, there's something going over there.
There's more safeties in the sea. It's not. You don't have to run back to Jalen freaking Mills.
Plenty of fish. What?
Yeah. Listen, if whatever you're into, but if you can get Jalen Mills on a team-friendly contract, okay, fine. But I'm not saying now we have to go get Jalen Mills. You have to say it like that too.
Tom from the Villas chimes in at 609-403-0973. He says, my biggest worry for the Eagles right now is once they pay Hurts his money, how much will they have left to work with? Well, Tom from the Villas, I understand the question.
Yeah, that's nothing.
But I think that it's a question that is born out of false narratives because Tom in the Villas probably watches or listens to other shows as well who fail Tom in the Villas as an audience and telling him the truth. And the truth is that who's the best quarterback in the NFL, Ryan?
Mahomes.
You know what Mahomes' contract is? It's an every other year salary. So, his deal is 1 year he gets 46. The next year he gets 39. 1 year he gets 41. The next year he gets 45.
Yeah.
The whole contract is up and down.
Right.
So the team can literally work all the other contracts in around his. So if the Chiefs can do that, you don't think Howie Roseman can do the same?
And I just ask this. Tom, I hear you. I understand your concern. Let's say the Eagles didn't have to sign Jalen Hurts right now. How much would be different? Okay, maybe you have CJ. Right? What is it that bad right now? The entire offense is intact. Everyone's coming back, quite literally, outside of Miles Sanders, right?
Yeah.
But you have the best offensive line in the NFL still. You have the best wide receiver duo. You have a top 5 tight end.
Right.
And the quarterback, we all know.
Yep.
Okay, that's great. Defense, you have BG back. You have Cox back. You have Slay back. You have Bradbury back. You have Jordan Davis. You have Nakobe Dean. You have Hassan Reddick. You have Josh Sweat. My goodness here, right? I don't think there's any room for us to complain about having to pay an MVP quarterback with the roster that we have around him.
And that goes back to what Howie said. Remember Howie said, he goes, you know what? What's better than not paying a quarterback is having a quarterback you want to pay.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
what do we want to pay? And I'm not saying, Tom, you're saying this. We're just getting off the rails now a little bit before we get to the next text. But, what do we want to pay Daniel Jones 4 years, $160 million? Nah, I'm good.
Yeah,
right? This is an excellent problem to have.
Randy from Hamilton chimes in at 609-403-0973. Says, can we talk about losing Sayamalu to Pittsburgh?
Yeah, good point, Randy. Thanks for bringing that up because Josh and I failed. We failed you in that sense.
Well, I don't know if we failed, but I do think that Sayamalu's weird because on one hand, people like me assumed, Ryan, he was gone. We assumed that he was going to go get some fat contract offer because the league is full of bad offensive linemen. And Sayamalu despite his injury history, is probably better than like 75% of the league.
Absolutely.
And listen, I think that for the Eagles, what does that mean? Well, that probably means that you're going to have either, unless they draft somebody that I don't foresee, like Skoronski from Northwestern. You like the name Skoronski,
Yeah,
by
it's
the
a
way?
great name.
It's a great offensive lineman.
Awesome name, yeah.
That's the kind of offensive lineman you want.
But where did he go? He had to have gone to Wisconsin.
Northwestern.
Or North. Yeah, I was going to say like Wisconsin or whatever. Go ahead. Keep
Big
going.
Ten. Big Ten.
Big
country.
Ten.
Just say
exactly.
Big Ten.
There you go.
You're easy.
Yeah.
But you know, maybe Cam Jurgens or Jack Driscoll get that job this year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I personally would like to see Jurgens get it.
I don't know how he doesn't.
Because I think that putting him get action, I think could only help him. Because if you're center of the future, you know, it's like when you're a backup catcher learning how to be a starting catcher in baseball, and you learn by playing. You don't learn by sitting on the bench and just staring at the field the whole time. Put Jurgens out there, get him some real-time reps, let him see Jason Kelsey in real action.
Yeah.
You know, let him learn by Kelsey smacking him in the arm every once in a while. Be like, hey, bro, you went the wrong way.
And that's like, we're obsessed with draft coverage and who are they going to draft. And we like this guy. We like that guy, you know, putting our scout cap on, if you will. Look at what the Eagles and Howie did last year, right? They drafted Jurgens, and now it's his time to step in. They drafted Jordan Davis. Now it's his time to step in. And they drafted Nakobe Dean. Now it's his time to step in. So my point is, I can see a similar path where we're going to use these guys in 2 or 3 years, not right away.
Referencing back to our conversation about running backs in the first hour at 609-403-0973. CT chimes in. At least he gave me something.
Yeah.
Instead of anonymous, you know. CT chimes in. Not CT Fletcher hair.
Wonder if it's the CT I play basketball with. Go ahead.
It might be.
Yeah, maybe.
He says Marshawn Lynch was a bell cow for Seattle. Leonard Fournette as well. Talking about teams that have won Super Bowls. Well, Marshawn Lynch was a while ago. And that was almost like a different NFL.
That was like a decade ago.
That's a decade ago. Leonard Fournette wasn't really a bell cow. He was
their main back.
He was their main back, but like the Bucs were Brady.
He also was out of his prime a little bit. He was still very valuable, but
yeah. The thing with Fournette was Fournette's career kind of played out like LeGarrette Blount's did, didn't it? It was like he got to the league. He was like really good at one point. Then he had an injury and everybody forgot about him. And then somebody picked him up and he became legitimate again.
You know, the Brady effect of his ability to revive anyone in everyone's career. Remarkable.
Yeah. I mean, the thing, you know what? I will say this. I know I'm just glad Brady's done now. So I have to stop thinking about all the guys who will sign with the team because of Brady. You know, it's like, well, Brady played with this guy like 5 years ago.
Right.
You know, It's like we're finally done with that. Like we can stop hearing Gronk be asked about Brady playing in Tampa on television. Like, goodness gracious.
By the way, Leonard Fournette's numbers, the Super Bowl season, he had 812 yards, 8 touchdowns, 180 carries. So nothing crazy.
He's LeGarrette Blount at that point.
Yeah, he had a very solid
although LeGarrette
year.
Blount didn't lead the Eagles in 2017 in rushing touchdowns. Remember who it was?
Well, if it wasn't Blount, was it Ajayi or Clement? Was it Ajayi?
It was Clement.
It was Clement.
Clement led the team in
rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
With what, 2?
No,
I
I think it was like 5 or something. It's like the most like ridiculous stat in the world. I remember someone brought it up to me a couple of years ago, and I had to like double check it. I'm like, are you serious? Like Clement led that team in rushing. Apparently he did. Shane chimes in from Summers Point at 609-403-0973. Hey guys, all I can think about is Trey Turner mashing in the World Baseball Classic. Love the show. Thanks, guys. That's from Shane at Summers Point.
Are you locked into the World Baseball Classic at all?
No, I'm locked into the highlights.
Wow. I'm shocked.
I'm locked into the highlights.
You come off as the guy that's just fully locked in.
See, here's my priority list right now.
Okay.
When it comes to watching on TV,
yeah,
you have the Sixers.
They're number one?
They're number one for me right now.
Okay.
March Madness.
Behind the Sixers.
Right.
Wow.
So it's Sixers, March Madness.
Okay. Don't lie to us now.
I did watch some of the Flyers game on Friday.
Why would you do that?
Well, Owen Tippett did have a hat trick, and they won the game.
I could care less. Yeah. 5-2 over Montreal, I believe, right?
And then before I get to the World Baseball Classic, I have,
Spider-Man?
Random NBA game on television.
Okay.
Your random, Portland versus Dallas game.
You love a good random Portland.
And then you got, I'm binge watching Cobra Kai right now on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching History of the World Part 2 on Hulu.
Oh, that looks funny, actually. I do want to watch that.
Yeah, if you are easily offended, don't watch it. If you're not easily offended, you'll enjoy it. I'm also rewatching the Chappelle Show. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Can't go wrong
and
with
I can't
that.
fall asleep.
Yep. That's
You
me
know.
every night. I watched Welcome to Wrexham on Hulu.
Okay.
That bad boy.
I do need to watch that.
That is unbelievable. You
Okay.
have to watch it. Have to. So I'm just throwing that out there for random shows to binge. Also, the Murdoch murders are really good on Netflix.
You know what I have on my queue list? I still need to watch Bullet Train on Netflix.
I saw it. It's good.
I still need to watch what is it, Will Trent, that's on Hulu?
Will Trent.
He's like this quirky guy who solves mysteries.
Oh, I've seen previews. I
He's
haven't
got like a
watched.
chihuahua that he carries with him everywhere.
Yeah. I haven't watched that.
It kind of
but-
reminds me of The Mentalist when I seen the commercials for
Uh-huh.
it.
Yep.
I enjoyed The Mentalist years ago. So that's what those are all the things I'm watching
Before the
instead
World
of
Baseball
the World
Classic.
Baseball Classic.
Man, I tell you what, Trey Turner is an absolute beast. Dude.
And you know what I'll watch as well? I'm going to watch John Wick Chapter 4 this weekend when it comes out.
Okay. All right. And that's all before the World Baseball
All
Classic.
before the World Baseball Classic.
Gotcha.
I'm not in baseball mode yet.
No, me either. And, I'm scared to death of Turner or JT or Schwartz getting hurt. That's what I'm afraid of. But they are balling in the WBC. They're worth a watch for sure.
Oh, they are. I've seen the highlights.
Okay.
Sports Center, yeah.
Fine.
Yeah, the late night Sports Center, with SVP or one of those guys.
Yeah, listen, I get it. I'm just saying it won't hurt you to flip over to it live for an inning or two. That's all.
I'll miss it.
Okay.
Thea chimes in at 609-403-0973. She says, hey, Josh.
Read this whole text.
Oh, I'm going to read the whole
Okay,
text.
good.
Howie and the Eagles are on a positive path. We couldn't keep everyone. We will still be a powerhouse. This is according to Thea. She also says, my Sixers in caps can get
She's
the
yelling
second,
at this point.
maybe the first seed with 3 exclamation points. Then the next line, Thea writes in not exclamation caps. She
No
says,
longer yelling.
I totally enjoy you, Josh, and Mike.
Oh, that's nice.
Not that other guy, though.
Oh, that's not nice. I mean, I assume she's talking about Danny Ryan back in studio because it can't be me. I mean, everyone loves me,
I mean, listen, you're
I'm
Harvey
so
Dent.
likable.
You've you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
It's the nicest thing you ever said to me. I would gladly take on the Harvey Dent role. Gladly. Just walk around with a coin in my pocket, just deciding everyone's fate.
Another text guy chimes in at 609-403-0973. Anonymous says, yeah, Josh, this is the guy, referring to Mike McGarry, that said home court advantage doesn't
Thing
matter
anymore.
anymore in the NBA. I'm changing the channel. I'll be right back.
Jeez, harsh. Back-to-back harsh messages.
I do recognize that number because the guy complained about McGarry last week as well. A random text says, great show, guys.
Thanks. There you go.
That's all he said. Just great show, guys.
We'll take it. I need that right now in my life,
JW in Ocean City says, Josh and Ryan.
Nice.
There you go. He said
There
your
we go.
name, Ryan.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, he says, your thoughts on Mariota being a good room guy teammate, considering how he acted when losing his starting job in Atlanta. Thank you. That's JW in Ocean City.
I mean, does that mean anything? No, at JW, I love adding my name, but come on, are we worried about Mariota in the locker room?
No, because the problem in Atlanta is Mariota was lied to.
Okay.
Mariota was told he was going to be the starter.
I don't know if that's just life in professional
And basically,
sports,
they told him, like in Las Vegas, it was Derek Carr, hey, we're going with the young guy the rest of the year. So you're not the starter anymore. And Mariota was like, all right, well, I don't want to be here anymore. And Derek Carr did the same thing. Are we complaining that Derek Carr is going to be a problem in New Orleans?
Fair. It's all fair. Yeah.
I think Mariota is going to do a great job in Philly. I think he knows what his role is. I think he knows that he's a backup quarterback in the NFL. And I think he's going to come in here and be the best backup quarterback he can be, because we know that Mariota, beyond last season, has always been a good locker room guy.
Yeah.
I think just last year was a weird situation in Atlanta.
And I think we should all trust the current locker room and its leadership. People are just going to fall into place.
Jane Atlantic City says, hey, guys, I've been on vacation, so I missed y'all. Just saying hello to the best sports radio in New Jersey.
Wow. I mean, just keep the compliments coming. 609-403-0973.
I have to take a screenshot and post out my
on your
cover
fridge?
photo.
Put it on your refrigerator.
I was saying my cover photo on social media.
Oh, that works too. Yep. Either way.
Just, hey, guys. He didn't say just Mike or Ryan or Josh. He said all of us.
Yeah. No, we appreciate it, Jay.
That includes Danny Ryan in the studio.
Nah, you don't have to include Danny.
Danny is back there. See, folks who don't
Watch
know,
those
Mike
words.
Gill's. Yeah, Mike Gill is not here today, so they let me out of the studio for once.
Yeah, they let you out.
Yeah, to be
How's
seen
it
in public.
feel to be out in public?
It feels nice to be seen.
Okay.
Not as nice when people try to talk to you when they're trying to talk on the radio, but
Yeah, it's like if I get one more person asking me where the bathroom is, you know what I mean?
Well, I was telling you and Ariel, I remember when I used to do high school football games, and I'm in the middle of calling a play, and someone will walk up to the booth that you're at, like like an Absegami or an Oak Crest,
Right.
with the window open, and they're trying to talk to you. They start waving at you.
They're looking for a hot dog.
They're
Who get nachos? Cheese on the side.
The best was, and before we get to the break, I gotta tell this story real quick.
All right, better be good.
My best. What happened to me calling a game was I was calling a Wildwood Catholic versus Cape May Tech boys game.
Oh, you throw the record books out the window when they clash. Yeah.
And this was back when T. John Casiello was bombing threes for Wildwood
Oh,
Catholic.
it was a basketball game.
Basketball.
It was at Wildwood Catholic?
No, it was at Cape May Tech.
Love their court.
I remember because Wildwood Catholic, I don't think they could barely fit you in.
No, they can't.
Yeah.
I've
actually called one game of Wildwood Catholic from that corner behind the bleachers.
Yep.
I called another game behind the scorers table in like the bleachers itself.
Yes. Yep.
That's
great.
But at Cape May Tech, they put you under the overhang where like the locker room, weight room is.
Okay.
Because there's power over there. No big deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're in a commercial break, and this game, like, we're gonna keep talking about T. John Casiello. He's got like 18 points at halftime or something like that, right? Like the guy's firing all cylinders.
Yeah, he's in a rhythm.
We're in halftime. Random person walks up to me and is mad at me for not talking about their kid enough on the radio.
Yeah, you hate to see it.
And I literally said to them,
Who was their kid?
Who is your kid? And I purposely, just to be me,
Yeah.
started going out of my way to name their child and mention.
You should have just started ripping them.
I kept mentioning, oh, well, so-and-so just set a pick. Hey, so-and-so just came into the game off the bench. Hey, so-and-so just got a rebound. Oh, nice outlet
So you
pass.
gave in to the parent.
Oh, I decided to be obnoxious about it.
Okay. All right. That's
and then,
great.
Just to, and of course the guy who was doing the game with Harry Sachs, he's sitting next to me just laughing, like trying not to laugh on the radio.
Yeah.
But like he's just like chuckling, like he keeps doing like putting his hand over the mic.
Nice.
The headset, laughing just to be like, I can't believe you're really doing this. Like
that's classic.
Yeah. That's Josh in a nutshell.
Yeah, basically.
Josh just sitting there being obnoxious.
Yeah. And I'm over here just flipping my Harvey Dent coin,
3:45 on a Monday. Josh Hennig filling for Mike Gill along with Ryan Rothstein. Live at the Gallery Bar booking games with a gazillion screens here. I mean, you got a screen for everything you possibly need. I mean, this is the place you want to be to watch college basketball. I'm sure, March Madness last week was absolutely bonkers in this place. But it's also cool. Just you want to come out here. I know Jeff in Ocean City, who texts the show often. He's told me he loves to come here to watch a Sixers game.
There you go. Yeah.
He throws a little wager. Jeff in Ocean City, for those who don't know, loves to text into the text board at 609-403-0973, and he'll send in his bet that he's making that night.
Oh, I love that.
And I'll literally get back to him and tell him if I think it's a good bet or not.
Nice.
So sometimes it's like a really good one. He'll nail it. Other times I tell him, like, I don't feel good about that James Harden bet. Like a James Harden, like over like 2.5 3-pointers made or something like that.
Yeah.
You know how this works.
I do. Yes, I'm familiar.
How deep do you go on the parlays usually?
Depends how cocky I'm feeling that day. You know,
if you feel dangerous.
Listen, you have to have some fun. You have to have some fun with it. Throwing a little parlay, you have to.
You get
Either way.
swagger.
Yeah, I got some swag, especially when I'm betting. When I'm losing all my money. No, you know what? I'm gonna add this over and that over. It's just like a 20-leg parlay.
It's a little chaotic, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. They lose track of what you actually like. I was telling somebody this weekend, Billy Schwein was walking around with his bracket in the studio on Saturday. And I'm like, Billy, I have it on my phone.
Yeah, Billy, no one cares about anyone's bracket. I mean, this time in the sports world, everyone's talking about their bracket, including myself. So I'm hypocritical. No one cares. No one cares about your bracket. Coming up next, we'll discuss our brackets. No.
97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle.
There's never an off season for the NFL. It's football at 4, every day at 4 p.m. on the Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Save thousands at Matt Blatt Kia. Get out of your old trade today, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth. Go to mattblattkianj.com for more details. That's mattblattkianj.com.
It's gotta be a
Matt Blatt Kia.
Breaking news.
Tax refund shock is everywhere, but what is it?
My tax refund shrank.
Mine too.
The culprit? Pandemic-related stimulus payments and tax credits expiring. In this reporter's opinion, you need a tax expert.
Hey guys, Jackson Hewitt guarantees your biggest refund.
And tax prep is 50% off? Going there now.
50% off is a limited time offer for new clients filing at participating locations. Max value $200. Visit jacksonhewitt.com/50 for terms.
Hi, honey. Happy first day back at work. Can't wait to see you tonight. We are so proud of you.
Daddy, love you.
There are many reasons to start recovery. If you or someone you love is struggling with addiction, we are here to help. Call us. Our trained counselors are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to help. Your recovery is within reach. Call 844-REACH-NJ to learn about medication that can support your recovery. A message from the New Jersey Department of Human Services.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, trunk lids, license plate holders, and headlights. They've got lots of headlights. When you need parts, get it right the first time with eBay Guaranteed Fit. When you see the check, you know that part's going to fit. eBay Motors. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Honey, come here, quick.
What is it?
Shh, check it out. The prices on all these highly rated tequilas are amazing. Total Wine must have made a mistake.
Nope, they always have the best deals in town. Remember that amazing reposado your sister brought over last week? See, it's right here.
Whoa, that's a low price. I mean, whoa, that's a low price.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More. Drink responsibly. B21.
Bet365 is giving you more this March with a mega $365 in bonus bets. Simply sign up, bet $1, and unlock your $365 in bonus bets. Check out our Bet Boost, offered across every game of the college basketball tournament throughout March. Sign up today, bet $1 and get $365 in bonus bets, and make your March mega with Bet365. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 plus and physically located in New Jersey.
With Mega Millions now up to $272 million, what are you waiting for? A $2 chance could make you Jersey's next mega winner. After all, anything can happen in Jersey.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
When you're rolling Charmin Ultra Soft on the party, this is more, so roll it back, everybody. Charmin's irresistibly soft and hella nice. Our cream is always soft, it's our party vibe. So our cheeks feel flat, so everybody wanna touch the sky.
Charmin Ultra Soft is irresistibly soft and more absorbent, so you can use less. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
Sweetwater Marina and River Deck is back for another new and exciting season. Join them down by the historic Mullica River on Friday, March 31st at 4 for their opening day. Enjoy some new menu items, new drinks, and new bands are lined up for the season. Don't forget about their versatile event space, all maintained by experienced, attentive staff. This venue presents an exceptional setting for a celebration to remember. Sweetwater Marina and River Deck will be nothing short of amazing. Visit sweetwaterriverdeck.com for more information.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Haley, quote, "Navage is the best thing I bought. I love it. My nose feels so clear now and I can breathe. I've been struggling with a stuffy nose for weeks. I bought Navage and it's amazing." Or this one, "I use Navage every night, could not imagine life without it. I have 5 cats, and before I found Navage, I was a clogged mess. Now I breathe so much better." Unquote. Those are two of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
Your next BMW is waiting for you at BMW of Atlantic City. Find exceptional savings on an extensive selection of your favorite new BMW models. Right now, lease a new 2023 BMW X3 S-Drive 30i for $559 a month for 36 months. Plus, get exceptional trade-in value for your current vehicle. Visit BMW of Atlantic City, closer than you think. Located in Egg Harbor Township and online at bmwatlanticcity.com. For more details, call us toll-free at 609-316-2393.
Now, back to more Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's sports leader.
Josh Hennig filling in for Mike Gill here on the Sports Bash meeting, brought to you by Jenkins & Sons. One call does it all. No need to call the drain guy, the heater guy, the plumbing guy, because Jenkins has got you covered. Just give him a call at 609-641-6440 for new heating and air installations, service and maintenance, ductless air conditioning systems, water heaters, boilers, leak repairs, and more. 609-641-6440 and online at jenkinsandsons.com. I can confirm that Jeff in Ocean City has already made his parlay bet for the evening because he texted it in to 609-403-0973. Ryan, I'll get your expertise at Wise Rye on Twitter. Okay, he's got Sixers money line combined with Embiid over 30 points, combined with Harden 10-plus assists.
I like it. I mean, listen, Embiid has 9 straight games with 30 points or more. James Harden actually took Harden and is over on his assist total in a game last week, and it hit. He's averaging 11 assists a game. He's leading the NBA in assists. So, yeah, man, until that stops, you ride that train. You ride that wave all the way to the shore.
Or if you're at the shore, you just, ride to the bank, I guess.
Either way works. I guess a bank reference would have been better, but you're picking up what I'm putting down. So that bet definitely won't hit because I just signed off on it.
Matt in Delaware, speaking of the Sixers, says, good afternoon, fellas. Call us fellas.
Yeah, good afternoon.
He says, we need to talk about the Sixers and how in this day and age, we are never satisfied. Don't have patience for anything. I know it will be disappointing if they don't reach the Eastern Conference Finals or make the NBA Finals, but for some of these fans to act like the whole regular season is pointless, let's live in the moment, enjoy these 50-win seasons, and having one of the best players in the league. Matt Delaware goes on to say, even having a chance to win a championship, Philly fans really are spoiled nowadays.
I mean, he's right. He's also a little bit wrong just because the reason why fans are acting that way, we've experienced successful regular seasons and have been disappointed come playoff time. So you feel like it's Groundhog's Day.
By the way, we are out here at the Gallery Bar booking games. Speaking of sports betting at Ocean Casino Resort. Hey, if you come out and see us today and you show Ariel that you download the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, you can get a T-shirt and a koozie thanks to Ocean Casino Resort. You just got to download the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. It's free thanks to First Bank of Sea Isle. You show it to Ariel, show you're actually on the app, you're listening to the show, and you can get a T-shirt and a koozie if you come visit us at the Gallery Bar booking games at Ocean Casino Resort with their 200 televisions and their green lit bar in the center of everything here. Speaking of green, Eagles talk coming up next. Football at 4.
Nothing beats March Madness. The pure sound of a swish, the rattle of a slam dunk, the fans on their feet for the big moments. And the action just keeps getting better until a national champion is crowned. Hear all the action with Westwood One's exclusive coverage of the NCAA men's and women's tournaments right here.
March Madness on 97.3 ESPN is being brought to you by Calvi Electric and Progressive Fence and Rail. 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's home for the NCAA tournament.
We now spend at least 5 hours a day on our phones, and yes, they are affecting our lives. Even if our phone is on vibrate, it's sapping our focus. A single buzz or ding from our phone is enough to lower our ability to focus on a task. When we really need to concentrate, it might be a good idea to switch our phone to Do Not Disturb instead of vibrate. And when we're walking and using our phones, we're less likely to pay attention and more likely to get hurt in an accident. Whether driving or walking, each year thousands of people are injured or lose their lives due to texting or talking on a cell phone. So we just need to be more aware. Small changes in our cell phone use can make a big difference in our lives. I'm Robin Stoloff for Health Update.
Recycling is an easy and important activity you can do every day to help the environment. ACUA reminds you to recycle metal cans, glass jars, cardboard, paper, and plastics. To learn more, visit acua.com or call 609-272-6950.
It's March, and you know what that means. Taxes are almost due. Jackson Hewitt can help you win tax season. That's the sound of your maximum tax refund. The sound of getting 50% off tax prep. The sound of many of our competitors' prices going up. And the sound of getting to your nearest Jackson Hewitt. Hurry in for 50% off tax prep before this offer expires April 9th. Limited time offer for new clients filing at participating locations. Max value $200. Visit jacksonhewitt.com/50 for terms.
The world is always on, but you shouldn't be. Put junk sleep to bed. During Mattress Firm's big spring sale, get a king bed for the price of a queen and save up to $700 on Sealy. Shop now at Mattress Firm. Restrictions apply. See store or mattressfirm.com for details.
With GM financing, qualified buyers excludes Corvette.
It's back! That's right. March Markdown is back at Bennett Chevrolet. And this year, the savings are bigger and better than ever, with huge savings on every vehicle, because we need to move out over 200 of them right now. Believe it or not, Bennett Chevrolet is selling new vehicles at GM supplier employee pricing for everybody. Plus, there's available 0% financing. And Bennett is giving a minimum $10,000 for the worst clunker towards any pre-owned vehicle in stock. That's at least $10,000 for total junk. Just imagine how much Bennett is paying for good trades. And Bennett's non-commissioned sales team is a delight to work with, because they're paid on your satisfaction, not how much you spend. Don't miss March Markdowns going on now at Bennett Chevrolet, and get your new Chevy at GM supplier employee pricing, 0% available financing, and at least $10,000 for any trade towards any pre-owned in stock. Find new roads at Bennett Chevy, Egg Harbor Township, and BennettChevy.com.
Hello there. My name is Seychelle, and what makes the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich original to me is the punch of flavors that's unlike any other. You get the crispy tenderness of the chicken and that hint of sourness from the pickles. Ta-da!
Hey, I'm Juan, and what makes the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich original to me is you're going to get chicken that's crispy, golden, and juicy. This is the gold standard of chicken sandwiches.
Order the original Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich on the Chick-fil-A app today. Real customers paid for their testimonials.
Are you already doing digital advertising sales? Do you know all about targeted displays, social media marketing, the latest in SEM, and behavioral targeting? If so, you could be Town Square Media's new advertising sales star. We are looking for passionate sales professionals to join our media and digital advertising team. If consulting and connecting local businesses with their ideal audience for growth sounds exciting, well, let's have a conversation about you working for Town Square Media. Right now is the perfect time to join our team as an advertising account executive. Our comp package is amazing, with unlimited earning potential, including base salary, mobile phone, auto package, 401k match, and more, along with world-class training and plenty of room for growth. If you're competitive, driven, and have the ability to communicate great ideas, we want to hear from you. Reach out to Michael Rubel, Market President, at 609-910-5249, or visit careers.townsquaremedia.com. Town Square Media is an equal opportunity employer.
A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey. This is 97.3 ESPN, home of the Philadelphia Eagles.
He is hit! He stumbles! He's down!
WENJ HD Millville, Atlantic City. 97.3 ESPN presents The Sports Bash with Mike Gill. It's time for Football at 4 with Jeff Mosier.
I think our track record in the last 20 years, how many NFC East titles, playoff appearances, and appearances in the NFC Championship game, those are some of the metrics I look at, and I'll compare our record with almost anybody.
Powered by the Inside the Birds podcast. Now, live from inside the Matt Black Kia Studios. This is Football at 4.
Football at 4 powered by the Inside the Birds podcast. Josh Hennig alongside Ryan Rothstein live here at the Gallery Bar booking games at Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City. Filling in for Mike Gill here. And, of course, it's a Monday, which means it's a Mosher Monday. Jeff Mosher joins us here. Actually, I'm still waiting for Ryan to return from wherever he went. But I got Jeff Mosher at least here on the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN. Jeff, good to have you back. How was your extended weekend?
Well, it's extended into the week, so it was a work weekend as we do at this time of the year. It doesn't even feel like there was a weekend, to be honest with you.
So let's start with the CJ Garner Johnson stuff because obviously he's tweeting again, and he thinks he's been wronged, basically, for whatever reason. I'm not fully sure why he thinks that, but give the audience a breakdown from how we got from CJ Garner Johnson being offered a multi-year deal by the Eagles to getting a one-year deal from the Lions.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. This seems this is like an onion with a lot of layers.
A lot of layers.
Yeah. So the multi-year deal, as I understand it, was still structured like a deal that could be you could get out of after 1 year if what I understand is accurate. So I think that's sort of what the agent was insinuating when he tweeted last night, saying that, it looks good, like a 3-year, $24 million deal, but all of it's backloaded. And I imagine that he said something about $17 million that probably wasn't guaranteed. So obviously CJ Gardner Johnson went into the whole free agent process expecting to make a certain amount of money. And it was not there for him, not only with the Eagles, but anybody else, right? Jesse Bates got $16 million. The tag was $14 million. If you look at every other safety, from Von Bell to Donovan Wilson to Jordan Poyer to Marcus Epps to whoever, they're all in that $6 to $8 million range. There was not like a middle class, right, of safeties this year. I think you'd have to ask CJ, and I know he spoke to the Lions media today. Maybe he was expecting something at first huge and then something in between. Whatever the factors were, it wasn't there for him. And as I always say, the longer you stay in free agency, it's usually the money doesn't get better. It usually gets worse. So I was actually starting to think, I think I said this to Mike last week or you or somebody, that the longer he's on the market, it feels more toward like he'd have to sign a 1-year deal and try again next year. Now, why would the Eagles not offer him the same money that he got from the Lions? It's a question I'm still trying to work on myself, just in asking around, because he was such a good player for them last year, Josh, that it's hard not to think they couldn't make the money work, even though they did bring back. I don't think they believed going into free agency that they were going to bring back Bradbury. I think the number wound up being pretty favorable with him. He didn't get like $21 million to $22 million like some of the top corners make. So they had a good chance to bring him back. So maybe they were not expecting that, and then that changed their financial situation. But we all know you can make a 1-year, $6.5 to $8 million deal work. When they signed Joe Flacco a couple of years ago, they gave him a 1-year deal for $3 or $4 million and spread it out over like 4 dummy years. Like they could have made it work if they wanted to, I'm sure.
I know Adam talked about last week. I talked to him on Tuesday last week, Jeff, that, a lot of these guys went into free agency. Your Marcus Epps, down to CJ Garner Johnson. A lot of these guys went in there expecting a certain amount of money, and they didn't get that money. And, I actually read somewhere, I think it was The Athletic, said that, a team laughed at Marcus Epps, for, what he was asking for versus what he got. So how much of what CJ Garner Johnson happened with him was, he says on Twitter he's being blackballed, which we know is ridiculous. So, how much of these guys maybe, are they just getting bad advice going into free agency, thinking they're going to get big money, or is this just another example of how we understanding the market?
I think it's a combination of a few things. First, there's always, every individual is different. You make a great point because Adam brought this up about a week ago on our podcast. He had a good nugget, and he said Marcus Epps was looking to get paid. And he did not make anything extravagant. I think we've seen in the past, right, just go back to last year. Christian Kirk made an obscene amount of money for the type of player that he was, right?
Yep.
And so I think that a lot of players do go into free agency thinking that it doesn't matter if they're considered the top 3 at their position. They're going to make a crap load of money. But I do think that the Christian Kirks are becoming more few and far between. I think teams are doing a lot better job either using the franchise tag or getting extensions done early for like the Eagles do for their best players. And you're just not seeing the caliber of star athlete move in free agency over the last few years for a while now that you used to see all the time. And I just think that there's too many team-friendly mechanisms, whether it's a 5th-year option, a franchise tag, a transition tag, an extension. There's just too many good teams now that are doing it the right way, knowing the cap is going up and figuring whether it's dummy years like the Eagles do, figuring out a way. Because if you go look at the last year or 2 or 3, like Von Miller definitely last year was a big guy who to move in free agency, but he was on his 3rd contract at that point. Like, it's very rare that you get like this stud player. Bates is a good example this year. He's really the only one of a guy looking for a 2nd contract who has made multiple Pro Bowls who just didn't get re-upped for his own team. Even Javon Hargrave, stud player, but 3rd contract because he's a little bit older. You just don't see the A-list guys moving in free agency as much as you used to.
Moshe, what's the priority going to be? I know we still have some time before we get to draft day, draft coverage. I mean, draft coverage has already started, but you get what I'm saying. What's the priority there, and how has free agency so far impacted potentially the approach come draft time?
Yeah, I mean, you like to think that their approach doesn't change because of free agency, but the reality is that sometimes it does. And where it would have been easier to say number 10 is a cornerback, lock, stock, and barrel, because you're either losing Slay or losing Bradbury or this or that. Now, amazingly, these guys are back on multi-year deals. And by the way, we haven't even talked about the Slay thing. I can't even begin to comprehend how a player that you allowed to seek a trade and then we're going to release, then you do an about face and turn around him and sign him to more money. That one, yeah. I've been covering this team for almost 20 years, and I've never seen anything like that.
Well, it falls back for me, Jeff. Things you and I talked about this on Wednesday on Football at 4. We talked about the fact that we were like, how does this team not get a deal done with this guy and just say, you know what, why don't you go find a deal? Like, the whole thing was the most ridiculous thing. I mean, Jeff, I had people texting the show on Tuesday and Wednesday last week, losing their minds about how can Slay leave us? How can Slay say he wants to be in Philadelphia and then actually leave? Well, now that he's back, and it's like everyone's like, but we didn't get CJ. And it's just like,
yeah.
But you got Slay back. It's just so insane.
The one area that I really took delight in is watching, because this is such a natural reaction, right? It's human nature. It happens everywhere. But as soon as it looked like Slay was going to be on his way out, all of the reaction of, he wasn't that good. Where was he in the Super Bowl? He's not that great. And then now that he's back, it's like, oh, yeah, we got Darius Slay still. It's like, oh, we should be good next year. We got Slay and Bradbury. Same thing with Bradbury. Yeah, you can beat him down the sideline. But then all of a sudden they're Eagles again. Everybody loves him. So, it certainly was a bizarre saga for all 3 of them, for Bradbury, for Slay, and then CJ Garner Johnson. But I think the big picture look at that, Josh, is that this team is quite different up the middle, from losing Javon Hargrave to losing your 2 starting linebackers, Kaiser White and TJ Edwards, to losing your starting safeties in Marcus Epps and CJ Gardner. I mean, it's, and also I think they're good at corner. I'm not as down as some people were. But they're not any younger or more dynamic at that position either. They're just older and locked into a couple more years of each. So it's up to them. That's why I say, you asked me about the draft approach, Ryan. Like, I don't think that they should be turning their nose up at a young corner just because that guy might not get on the field immediately if he's good. They draft offensive linemen who aren't supposed to get on the field immediately. So why wouldn't you do the same at corner? I mean, we don't need to. We could just do a whole separate Football on 4 on how long it's been since they actually drafted and developed a good cornerback. It's been quite a while, and then forget about it with safety, right? So these are areas that they really need to get straight on in the draft.
Unpopular question and opinion, something I brought up to Josh earlier in the show. is there a part of you, even if it's like 2% of you, is there a part of you that sort of scratches your head at the reality of bringing back an aging, not aging, I'm being dramatic, but an older secondary in both Slay and Bradbury, and you didn't decide to get younger there, to your points that you've made?
Yeah, see, I can only sort of answer that in a vacuum. I'd be sort of, I'd be willing to say that if after this draft they don't do something. I mean, signing Greedy Williams was that's something that, so Adam and I went into last year saying it's great that you have Slay and Bradbury, but these guys could get hurt and you really don't have a number 3 outside corner. Your number 3 corner is Zach McPherson, who enters year 2, and we never even saw him play year 1. And even here a year later, he didn't play outside corner at all in year 2. And it doesn't seem like, with all those injuries they had with Avonte Maddox and CJ, they never got McPherson on the field. So their body language suggests that they're not really comfortable with this kid being a player for them. So they did at least get Greedy Williams, which is a little bit more of an attempt than last year to have somebody who can play outside corner if your 2 starters get hurt. Now, Greedy's got a ways to go. He was supposed to be a stud coming out of LSU. He couldn't make the Browns. He had trouble staying healthy. Doesn't mean he can't play. It's just he's got a little bit of ways to go, but at least that's a step in the right direction, Ryan, to your point. And if they use like a second-round pick or one of the first-round picks on a corner, then I'll say you're doing the right thing. You brought back 2 guys who can play because, yes, they're older and not as dynamic, but my God, like they're way better than any cornerback tandem the Eagles have had since Lito and Sheldon, and now we're going like 2 decades here. So I have no issue with that, but I do think that they've got to replenish and get those replacements in and not wait until those guys are falling off the face of the earth.
Talking with Jeff Mosher from the Inside the Birds podcast, InsideTheBirds.com, at Jeff Mosher NFL on Twitter on Monday's edition of the Sports Bash. Josh Hennig along with Ryan Rothstein, filling in for Mike Gill, live from the Gallery Bar booking games at Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City. So, Jeff, with all that being said, how do you think all these moves impact the draft? Because a lot of people were texting in to me last week, Christian Gonzalez or Joey Porter Jr. or Witherspoon at 10th overall. Well, now it seems like those guys are pretty much out of the conversation, probably. I mean, most likely. I mean, the Eagles typically go for best player available, right? But, how do you think this changes some of what they do in the draft? Do you think it's more or less likely they stay at 10 now? Do you think that, if I had $1 for every person who asked me, are they going to get Jalen Carter, I'd be rich by now.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it really changes it that much, Josh. I think there's three positions that stand out at that if they stay at 10. Obviously defensive line, if one of those major defensive tackles or ends falls to them, whether it's Carter or Anderson, I mean, that's unlikely to happen. I think the kid from Iowa will intrigue them, Van Ness. They clearly need a defensive tech, like a 5 tech, right, or a 3 tech for their pass rush, because once Jordan Davis, he needs 2 guys around him. Right now, he only has Fletcher Cox and Milton Williams. I don't think they see Williams as a starter yet. And if they're in their traditional 4-3 nickel, then it's Fletcher Cox and Milton Williams. But I still think you need more than that. So, Van Ness could be a kid perhaps for them. And then I still think corner is on the table. I think if you're picking a 10 and you've got no offers to move down and, Witherspoon or Joey Porter Jr. is there, then you take them for everything that Ryan and I were talking about, is that, you've gotten lucky having no injuries at outside corner, but if you do, you want somebody there. And then plus you just want somebody to be able to step up and be able to even steal a job from one of these 2 guys by next year, if that's the way because the way these contracts are structured, the Eagles will be able to get out in a year or 2 with either of them anyway. So I don't think that they'll balk at the idea of taking a corner. And then, of course, offensive line. If there's an offensive lineman that they love, they've lost a lot of depth with Sayamalo and with Andre Dillard leaving. Now they've got Cam Jurgens, who's going to play right guard most likely this year. But as soon as he moves to center, which could be in 2024, right, if Kelsey finally says I'm done, then you need a right guard. And the Eagles have never been afraid of drafting an offensive lineman 1 year earlier. In fact, they've done it each of the last 2 years with Jurgens and Dickerson. Just so happens that Dickerson had to play as a rookie, but at the time they had Brandon Brooks, and they had Sayamalu at left guard. So they're very willing to draft a year early on these guys.
Mosh, let's go to the offense here for a second. And looking at the backfield, Your thoughts and insight on Penny and what else is still yet to be done as far as adding depth and talent for the running back position, and you can also add your quick thoughts on the Eagles bringing in Marcus Mariota.
Yeah, I think the Penny signing makes it's sort of like this becoming this now vintage typical Eagle signing, which is like a low risk, high upside type of signing. It's a 1-year deal. It doesn't promise him anything. It doesn't stop them from adding another running back in the draft, free agency, trade, whatever, comes along. But it's a guy who, if they can keep him healthy and behind their offensive line, definitely has some tremendous abilities. The only problem is keeping him healthy. And that's why they also have Boston Scott. And that's why Kenneth Gainwell, most likely going into year 3 here, is going to see the biggest increase in snaps and playing time and usage. And don't forget about Trey Sermon, who is a guy that we've been told the coaches really, really like how hard he practiced, his abilities. They think he can play. And so he'll get a good look this training camp too. And if he's better and Rashad Penny is either injured or the injuries have made him less of a running back than he was in the past, then he's cuttable and it's not a big deal. As for Mariota, I get why they did it. They needed a backup quarterback. They lost Minshew. As we understand, they wanted to try to get Minshew back. But obviously he went to the Colts because, the opportunity for him probably to try to play there is a little better. I happened to watch a couple of Falcons games last year just because I was watching tape on them. And then, of course, they were on some bad Amazon Thursday night games. And and he was one of the reasons those games were bad. I mean, he really was not good last year. And I don't think it was one of those things where you say, well, it was no weaponry or a bad offensive line or your head coach doesn't know what he's doing. I just saw throws that he missed that were guys were wide open and he was just not even in their stratosphere. So I definitely have concerns that he's a guy that can step in and play and throw, win you games if Jalen Hurts was going to get hurt. Minshew did that 2 years ago against the Jets. Last year, he didn't play well against the Saints. He played better against the Cowboys. They lost a high-scoring game. But you sort of felt like, okay, even with Gardner Minshew, they're going to be all right other than that New Orleans game, which was just a dud. But, until I see it, I'd be kind of skeptical that Marcus Mariota can go over there and sort of not miss a beat with the Eagles offense.
With that being said, was there a better option out there then? Like I had people have been asking me about Nick Foles and Matt Ryan for days before Mariota was signed. I don't know if those guys are better options. So what was there a better option out there than Mariota for backup with Minshew gone?
Well, there were a lot of backup. This was like the year. If you needed a backup quarterback, there were tons of them, whether it was, Kyle Allen or Nick Mullins or, Sam Darnold wound up signing a 1-year deal. Cooper Rush signed back with the Cowboys, and some of these guys are in the $4 to $6 million range. Case Keenum, Mike White. Mike White made 8, so maybe that was a little bit too much. 8, Brissett made 8, but there's still guys out there. Matt Ryan's out there. Teddy Bridgewater's out there. Joe Flacco actually played well last year when he was asked to go in for the Jets. He's out there. So Brandon Allen's out there. Like, I don't know if any of these guys are that much better or worse than Mariota based on Marcus Mariota's tape last year. So if he comes in here and he's healthier and he's different and this offense capitalizes on his strengths, then that's a different story. But, those names I just told you who are still available, I'm not so sure that they weren't better or aren't better than Mariota.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Nick Mullins play last year in the preseason?
For the Eagles?
Yeah.
He might have, now that I think about it. He might have.
I feel like he did. Like, I got to look it up now.
Was he among the last cuts? I don't even remember anymore.
Because I think he played in that, final preseason game.
Yeah, I think you're right. And then they wound up claiming Ian Book off waivers after.
From the Saints,
right? Yeah.
That's funny.
So, yeah.
Yeah, he was on the Eagles preseason roster last year.
Right.
Yeah, the things I remember versus what I don't remember, it's the reason why I'm sitting here today.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's a good sickness, Josh. It's a good one.
It is.
It's also probably why I'm single. He's Jeff Mosher at Jeff Mosher NFL on Twitter. Check out the latest edition of the Inside the Birds podcast, which dropped this morning. And, of course, Adam Kaplan will be back in tomorrow for football at 4. And, of course, don't forget, InsideTheBirds.com. Jeff, appreciate you jumping on, and hopefully no more Eagle players go tweeting the rest of the day.
Oh, I can't guarantee that, but, we'll see what happens, Josh. Thanks for having me. Talk to you, Ryan. See you guys.
All right, later, man.
At Jeff Mosher NFL on Twitter. Don't forget Inside the Birds being brought to you by where we are today, the Gallery. Yes, get your game on at the Gallery, bar, booking games, and Ocean Casino Resort. Go for the sports scene and go for the endless screens. Go to the Gallery, go to Ocean, go for the win. For more info, visit the OceanAC.com. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLERS. So to come, more of your text at 609-403-0973. And as promised, former NFL safety Roman Harper has his theory why the Eagles may have missed, in a good way, missing out on C.J. Garner Johnson. We'll play that audio coming up next here on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle.
The excitement of a big play.
Maxi in the lane. He jams it. He blows by Siakam. A burst that only Maxi has.
And all the drama of sports.
What a layup. What a play. And a brilliant pass. Hard with a two-hand bounce pass.
All in one place. 97.3 ESPN.
Matt Platt Nissan is now open on the Black Horse Pike in Egg Harbor Township, next to Home Depot. Get out of that old car, truck, or SUV and into a brand new Nissan. The all-new Matt Platt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike in Egg Harbor Township. Or visit us online, mattplattnissan.com.
Hi. Who's this?
Buzz. He appears whenever you eat Honey Nut Cheerios.
Like a genie?
Sure.
Ooh, does he grant wishes? I wish I lived in a giant boot. No, I wish I could swim with a humpback whale. No.
I can grant you a delicious bowl of Honey Nut Cheerios, which can help lower cholesterol as part of a heart-healthy diet.
Ooh, with heart shapes, too.
Happy heart-shaped Cheerios are back for a limited time. Pick up a box of Honey Nut Cheerios at your local store for an easy, delicious, and heart-healthy start to your day.
Progressive presents Adjusting to the Suburbs.
I never thought I'd care about gardening until I bought a house in the suburbs. But now I find myself in conversations about liquid fertilizer, and I wonder, am I the fertilizer guy now? No way. Everyone knows the ratio between phosphorus and nitrogen, right? Yeah, I'm still totally cool.
Anyway, when you save with Progressive by bundling your home and auto, that's the easy part of adjusting to the suburbs. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company coverage provided and serviced by affiliates and third-party insurers.
A good work partner knows what you need before you need it. That's how it feels when you work with Cintas. Your dedicated Cintas service reps get to know your business and have the industry knowledge that can help you prepare for what's ahead. They'll deliver your team's workwear freshly laundered. Make sure your first aid and safety supplies, mats, mops, and towels are stocked when you need them. And your fire extinguishers are inspected and in working order. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
I can't believe tax season is here already. Look at all this info I have to enter.
Phil's small accounting firm is growing in numbers.
Why didn't I take that typing class in high school?
A data entry specialist could really help him in a crunch.
I got blisters on my fingers.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone, America's #1 brakes destination. We have the pads, rotors, drums, shoes, and brake fluids to improve your stopping power. Right now, save 15% when you get any 2 Duralast rotors with a set of Duralast brake pads. Missing a tool? Ask about our free Loan-A-Tool program and borrow the tools you need to get the job done.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the MPD Group 2021. Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool.
Did you know that over 90% of male enhancement pills are virtually the same thing that's repackaged, redone over and over again? Why settle for the same old product when you can get something completely different? Something that takes male enhancement into the 21st century. Something that really works. Men, you need to try Noxitril, the explosive, all-natural male enhancement formula that will unlock your performance in the bedroom to a level you could only dream of. Try to imagine Viagra on steroids. Noxitril is so powerful, that's why it took years for it to finally become available to the public without a prescription. So call now and take advantage of our special Noxitril free bottle offer today. Oh yeah, we recommend that you use the Noxitril dose as directed. Think of your partner. We certainly don't want you to overperform in the bedroom.
Call now and find out how to get a free bottle of Noxitril while supplies last. Call 1-800-992-9470. Free bottles for a limited time, so call now. 800-992-9470. That's 800-992-9470.
Powered by NJM. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. This is the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network.
I'm Josh Hennig with your South Jersey Sports Center, brought to you by Bet365. Download the app today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Despite reports of the Eagles offering a multi-year contract, safety C.J. Garner Johnson has chosen to sign with the Detroit Lions on a deal worth up to $8 million for 1 year. This is now 5 starters from the Eagles defense last season who have departed in free agency. Could the Phillies' top pitching prospect Andrew Painter take the mound at Citizens Bank Park this summer? Get all the details about what Dave Dombrowski said right now at 973ESPN.com. The Sixers are winners of 8 straight games as they return home to play the Chicago Bulls tonight. Listen to the game here on 97.3 ESPN. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Get more Eagles, Sixers, Phillies, and Flyers on our app. Your forecast is next.
We are the tippy top, we're top insurance. We are the tippy top, we're top insurance.
How much would you pay to make this jingle go away? How about nothing? In fact, you could save money on a better insurance experience without gimmicks. Upgrade to NJM and you could save up to $702 a year on auto insurance. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. Get a quote at NJM.com. Figure reflects average annual auto insurance premium savings on a national basis for applicants who reported their prior premiums and switched to NJM between 5/31/21 and 5/31/22.
From the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dan Zarrow. The later in the week we go, the warmer it's going to get, but also the more unsettled our weather will become. Skies stay clear tonight. Temperatures will be seasonably cool, low of 32. Tomorrow, high of 60. Very nice. Mostly sunny skies with some late-day clouds building in. Wednesday, partly to mostly cloudy. Chance of a late-day shower or sprinkle, high 59. A few more rain showers Thursday. Get weather 24/7 wherever you are. Download our free mobile app today.
Better days, healthier living. There are many reasons to start recovery. If you know someone who is suffering from addiction, we are always here to help. Make the call at 844-REACH-NJ.
Now, back to the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN.
ESPN FM, the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank. See how, if you download that app and you come and see us at the Gallery Bar booking games at Ocean Casino Resort, you can get a t-shirt and a koozie, but you have to download the app. You have to show Ariel that you're on the app and you're not just, hey, I downloaded the app and I'm going to delete it like 5 minutes after you actually have to tell us, hey, I'm listening to the show, I hate Josh. I like Ryan. Just say something.
Yeah, slip me a 20, whatever. Whatever.
You get a T-shirt and a koozie.
You can't beat a free tee and koozie. Come on now.
So I've been teasing this audio throughout the show. I wanted to get to it here. So former NFL safety Roman Harper, right? Now he covers the Saints and he covers the SEC. So he knows C.J. Garner Johnson pretty good. And the guy who played the position, he has a very interesting perspective. Well, Roman Harper was on the Steve Smith podcast. Steve Smith, the former Carolina Panthers and Ravens receiver. So Roman Harper basically kind of set the stage for C.J. Garner Johnson. I want you guys to hear what Harper had to say because Harper, his perspective on C.J. Garner Johnson, I think is very interesting for what happened just this weekend. Take a listen. Now, let's hit on that really quick.
Okay.
Ever since Howie Roseman, Jeff Moshe said every day Howie Roseman took over power again in 2016, right?
Yep.
What have the Eagles been prioritizing? Character, the locker room,
sure,
personality.
Yep.
Now, I ask you, did the Eagles maybe dodge an issue potentially, seeing the way CJ has acted out on Twitter recently and after what Roman Harper just said.
I mean, I'm going off what I know and what I've witnessed. I don't think that would be fair to say. I mean, listen, I'm not going to look at a tweet someone sends who then quickly deletes it as like a character issue, right? I mean, I think most people have been there, and I'm not going to say he's a jackass because he sent one tweet. You know, I know he had character issues and questions in the past, but we didn't see any of that in Philly, did we?
We didn't see it play out, no. But, you know, there were questions about him and how he, you know,
I like what he
to
brought.
Things.
Right.
Listen,
like what he brought to the
locker room. First of all,
room.
I thought him deleting the tweet about Gannon was stupid. You know, I know this is something me and Mike Gill disagreed about. I thought that, you know, I feel there's a catch-22.
Yeah.
All right.
Of course there is, especially on Twitter. But go ahead.
Give me the bully pulpit to pontificate for a hot second.
Okay, I don't know what you just said, but go ahead.
We want our athletes to be open and honest and not give us the coach speak and the same stuff. We want full access. Mm-hmm. We want hard knocks. We want the live Instagram feed of somebody ranting about something.
Yeah.
But as soon as they say something we don't like,
right,
we rip them for it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you can't have both. You can't have CJ, hey, we want CJ to speak his mind about the Eagles defense in the Super Bowl and then say, see, it cost him money in free agency.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it's a huge hypocritical thing to me.
It is, but that's life. I mean, it's not fair. It's stupid. People are stupid.
They are stupid.
Yeah, and that's how it goes. Like, the problem with Twitter is everything looks different in writing. Right. You know, and it's up for interpretation when you put it out on Twitter.
Right.
That's the problem. If he just said it in jest on a podcast that went viral, that's different. But, you know, you have to delete that if you're a professional athlete. You have to delete those things because it's basically you saying, all right, my bad. You know, otherwise it's a bleep storm that doesn't go away. But I agree with you overall. It's we want more access, and then we get it, and then we, you know, complain about it.
Speaking of podcasts, here's the second part of what former NFL safety Roman Harper had to say on the Steve Smith podcast. Some guys aren't that. That's a little stinger at the end there.
Dude, I mean, I appreciate this audio. It's really good, but it's harsh. I mean, he's overall very negative towards CJ. And does he know something that I don't?
It's possible.
Because that's the only thing. He either is a hater or he knows stuff that I don't know, because he is clearly saying that CJ has made mistakes. He has character flaws.
Yeah, I mean, he overtly said the Saints didn't want this guy.
Right. I mean, here's how I look at it. He made a point that I agree and disagree with, which is, you know, the best players stay. The organization keeps the best players in the league.
Right.
True, but the safety position is not viewed the same way it used to be viewed. Right? Like, the bottom line is the best players stay. That's really only true for quarterbacks. A.J. Brown is a top 3 to 5 wide receiver. Titans got rid of him. Like, there's examples of that every year of players that play any position not named quarterback that do not stay with one team.
Yeah, I think that part of what he said was incorrect. I do agree with you there, but I think that the overall point is what you said before, which is there something that he knows that we don't? And that kind of in and of itself is, I got to be frank, kind of scary to like process. Like, you know, maybe that's a real reason why he ended up in Detroit, because remember, when he was in New Orleans, he had Aaron Glenn and Dan Campbell in that building with him. Is this a situation where, you know, he realizes that, hey, these guys are going to take care of me.
Yeah.
I can get a 1-year deal. I can maximize my whatever, my value, my how people view me, because I need to be around. And, you know, maybe this is a humbling experience for him. Maybe whatever the issues are with him off the field with his maturity.
If there are any.
Well, everybody keeps saying there's maturity issues.
Yeah, but like we did not experience that. There was no rumblings in the locker room. It seems like every teammate here liked him. So, like, I'm not going to say he has character flaws. I know he's had incidents in the past, but I don't know. I just don't know. I know it's there, but I think overall in Philly, it was a good experience for both sides. I think a fair thing to add to this whole story is, how about the tweet that was sent out by the people that represent him?
That's a great point, because somebody texted in about it asking us why we feel that way. It was TJ in Millville who chimed in at 609-403-0973. He asked, hey, guys, why are you and McMullen saying what you're saying about the tweet? Well, the reason why we're mentioning the tweet and we're kind of like looking at it side-eyed is because if you're an agent, your job is to rep your guy. Your job isn't to tell the truth per se.
No, you have to lie.
Right.
Your whole job is to lie.
Right.
You have to be a great liar.
Well, maybe not be a great liar, but be enough of a liar. You
have to be a liar.
You got to manipulate the narrative.
Right. That's a really fancy way to say lie. I mean, Drew Rosenhaus is the best at what he does. Why? He's a liar. Right?
He's the best at what he does, and what he does isn't very nice.
Exactly. Right? I mean, I think that's a whole dynamic of the business side that we forget as fans.
Some Marvel geek out there is shaking their fist at the radio saying you nailed it, Josh, but Ryan has no idea what I was referencing.
I did. What'd you say? Can you say it again?
I was saying Drew Rosenhaus is the best at what he does, and what he does isn't very nice.
Okay. Yeah, that doesn't. I'm pretty good with my Marvel references, but I don't have an answer for that.
That's Wolverine.
Okay.
Wolverine, because he was, considered one of the greatest, weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Because they basically made him a living weapon.
Weapon X,
Yeah. So we go around telling people, I'm the best at what I do. And what I do isn't very nice.
He wasn't lying.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah.
Like, unlike Drew Rosenhaus, who
was lying.
Right,
exactly.
But the point is about what the agent said on Twitter is that the reason why what they said we can't take seriously is because it's their job to make their client look better. It's their job to get their client the most money possible. It's their job to create an image, whether it's real or not, about, the Eagles did my client wrong, or the league isn't giving my client a fair shake. And I wrote it down. John McMullen said earlier in the show, he said the rest of the NFL didn't see CJ Garner Johnson as a top-tier safety, and that Philadelphia looked at him differently than the rest of the league did. That says to me that the reason why CJ didn't get his money isn't because the Eagles did him wrong. It's because perception becomes reality.
Yeah.
And if 31 out of 32 teams say, we view you as A, and you think you're B, well, guess what? Maybe you're not Superman. Maybe
you're A.
Yeah, maybe you're just Green Arrow, for goodness sake. You know?
Yeah. No, exactly. That could be the reality, but there also could be another reality that the agency is right, that maybe the Eagles did do him dirty, or the deal that they offered him was not what it appears to be.
Yeah. Well, I think part of the problem also is I think a lot of fans, because of what's going on with Aaron Rodgers, because of what's going on with Lamar Jackson, right?
Yeah.
People have a perception of the league right now that isn't 100% true. What happens to one player doesn't necessarily happen to every other player.
No.
The Rodgers situation, Rodgers is just a weirdo, and he wants to go play for the Jets now, and they'll figure out how to make the deal right. It's not like Rodgers has a gun to anybody's head trying to make him do anything.
No, Rodgers is completely, I think.
The Packers didn't want him anyway. Packers don't want him. And Rodgers, I'm convinced that Rodgers says things sometimes just to creep people out, just to get reactions out of people.
Yeah, because he doesn't care.
Right.
And he knows he can. Yeah, exactly. And he doesn't give in to certain media members and outlets trying to rule his world.
Right. And on the
he's
flip
like,
side,
I'm the ruler of my world, dude. You're
Right.
not going to do what you tell me to do.
And the flip side is Lamar is the opposite problem. I think Lamar cares too much what people think.
Probably.
And he's putting this value on himself that whether he's worth that or not, it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, you're only worth what someone's willing to pay you.
Yeah, and don't forget, I brought up the agency thing with CJ. Lamar has no representation.
Zero.
That is a huge factor in this. I respect what his what his thought process was, what he was trying to do, it's not working for you, bro.
Right.
In the NFL, it's clear as day. You need an agent. You need a good one, or else you're going to be Lamar Jackson.
Listen, James Harden doesn't have an agent. But you know what he does every contract? He hires someone to help him negotiate a contract.
Because you don't know everything.
Exactly. And I think the problem is that maybe CJ, listen, there's a possibility that his, as I told Jeff Mosher earlier on Football at 4, here, Josh Hennig filling in for Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN next to Ryan Rothstein live here at the Gallery of Bar Book and Games at Ocean Casino Resort. I said to Mosher earlier, is there a possibility that maybe his own agency didn't give him the right information either?
Yeah, that's absolutely it is, right? It's all conspiracy at this point, and it's all, we don't know what the reality is, but the reality is I trust Howie Roseman for the Eagles situation.
And I trust that, even though it's March 20th, by the time we get to August 20th, we might not be even talking about the same roster.
No, absolutely
we could have signed or traded for somebody to play linebacker and safety. I mean, did anybody really know we were getting A.J. Brown before we got him?
No.
Did anybody really know we were getting C.J. Garner Johnson before we got him?
Nope. It all came out of nowhere.
I mean, did anyone really see
Bradbury.
us trading what's his name? Jordan Matthews for Ronald Darby back in 2017?
No. Yeah.
No. Because remember the whole thing was Jordan Matthews and Carson Wentz are best friends. You'll never trade Jordan Matthews. Whoop, he's out the door, right?
Yeah, thank goodness.
Well, that's all done.
Yeah, like really. The heck cares?
Coming up on the other side, we'll get back to your text, 609-403-0973. Don't forget, you will follow Ryan on Twitter at WiseRye on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at Josh Hennig. Hit us up on the Twitter sphere. I know Ryan is very unafraid to engage with the Twitter sphere.
I am.
Out there. We got Scott Spinelli, former Boston College head coach, former assistant coach with the Maryland Terrapins, joining us coming up at 5 o'clock to get deeper into March Madness. So keep it tuned right here. 97.3 ESPN, your home for Eagles, Sixers, Flyers, and South Jersey, including Sixers basketball tonight at 7 p.m. right here on 97.3 ESPN FM.
You haven't downloaded the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app? Well, go get it now to follow all the Philly sports teams at 97.3ESPN.com. Powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
With GM financing, qualified buyers excludes Corvette.
It's back. That's right. March Markdown is back at Bennett Chevrolet. And this year, the savings are bigger and better than ever, with huge savings on every vehicle, because we need to move out over 200 of them right now. Believe it or not, Bennett Chevrolet is selling new vehicles. GM supplier employee pricing for everybody. Plus, there's available 0% financing. And Bennett is giving a minimum $10,000 for the worst clunker towards any pre-owned vehicle in stock. That's at least $10,000 for total junk. Just imagine how much Bennett is paying for good trades. And Bennett's non-commissioned sales team is a delight to work with, because they're paid on your satisfaction, not how much you spend. Don't miss March Markdowns going on now at Bennett Chevrolet, and get your new Chevy at GM supplier employee pricing, 0% available financing, and at least $10,000 for any trade towards any pre-owned in stock. Find new roads at Bennett Chevy, Egg Harbor Township, and BennettChevy.com.
The Dell Technologies semi-annual sale is on, with limited quantity deals on top tech. Save on select PCs powered by the latest 12th gen Intel Core processors, like thin and light XPS 13 laptops, Inspiron laptops, and 2-in-1s. Plus, get savings on select accessories, free shipping, and monthly payment options with Dell Preferred Account. Save today by calling 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
What do you mean he went searching for fresher powder? We have full classes today.
Instructor down at Vesper Ski School.
Toward each other to snowplow, honey, not away.
She needs more ski instructors to slalom through the day-to-day.
Pizza, fries. Whoa, Braley, no, pizza.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
In order for small businesses to thrive, they need to be smart, efficient, agile, staying ahead of the market at every turn, and finding ways to do more with less. That's never been more important than it is right now. So for a limited time, Comcast Business is introducing Small Business Savings, a deal for companies across the country. When you call in now, you can get powerful internet for just $39 a month for 12 months. $39 a month. with no annual contract and a money-back guarantee. All on the largest, fastest, reliable network for small businesses, with the company that powers more businesses than anyone else. So if you're a small business owner, don't wait. Call and get started today. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Offer ends 4/4/23. Restrictions apply. New Comcast Business 50 megabits per second internet customers only. Requires EcoBill and AutoPay. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra and subject to change. Call or go online for details. After promo, regular rates apply.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, trunk lids, license plate holders, and headlights. They've got lots of headlights. When you need parts, get it right the first time with eBay Guaranteed Fit. When you see the check, you know that part's going to fit. eBay Motors. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Here's football star Tony Romo for Skechers Max Cushioning Footwear.
You know when you go to your kid's game and you have to sit on those uncomfortable, super hard bleachers? That's how I feel now when I wear regular shoes. Why? Because once I started wearing Skechers Max Cushioning, I've been spoiled with how amazing extra cushioning feels. Skechers maxed out the cushioning with a thick, comfy slice of super light Ultra Go cushioning for a soft, pillowy feel with every step.
See all the fashionable styles of Max Cushioning at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
With Mega Millions now up to $272 million, what are you waiting for? A $2 chance could make you Jersey's next mega winner. After all, anything can happen in Jersey. Kindle Auto Plaza has the area's largest selection of pre-owned vehicles of all makes and models. With over 80 pre-owned vehicles on their huge 100-acre lot. Everything from sporty coupes to SUVs to trucks. Kindle offers the area's best buying experience, easy and hassle-free, with 60 years of customer satisfaction and community service. Discover why Kindle customers are so loyal. Shop for your next pre-owned vehicle at Kindle Auto Plaza, exit 10 of the Parkway on Stone Harbor Boulevard, or at KindleAutoplaza.com.
Hi, honey. Happy first day back at work. Can't wait to see you tonight. We are so proud of you.
Daddy, love you.
There are many reasons to start recovery. If you or someone you love is struggling with addiction, we are
Hey Josh,
here
I
to
don't know if you
help.
saw my text,
Call
but
us.
just send me a
Our
brief
trained
description of what you
counselors
talked
are
about with
available
Jeff. I'm making
24
a
hours a
zero
day,
file.
7 days a week to help. Your recovery is within reach. Call 844-REACH-NJ to learn about medication that can support your recovery. A message from the New Jersey Department of Human Services.
Now, back to the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN.
4:49 here on the Sports Bash. Josh Hennig filling in for Mike Yell, live with Ryan Rothstein to my live right-hand side at the Gallery Bar Booking Games and Ocean Casino Resort with more TVs than you could ever imagine. This is the place you want to watch a game at. I know a lot of people were out here for March Madness.
How
Thursday.
did you watch the first few days of March Madness? What's your viewing, setup?
My viewing setup is very ridiculous and illogical. So my viewing setup was I slept in Thursday, Friday, and Sunday because I got the chance to get some extra sleep.
There you go.
And I just so I ended up watching the first game at home each of those days.
Uh-huh.
Did some work, then went out and either ran errands or whatever I had to do that day. And then like wherever I ended up, if I made sure they had a TV, or if I didn't have a TV, I put the game on my phone. Basically,
Okay.
It's one of those kind of deals.
All right.
Did you plant yourself somewhere?
Yes and no. What did I do? Thursday, I watched pretty much from home.
Okay.
Friday, I went out with a few friends and watched like 2 or 3 of the games in the evening out at an establishment. And then, the weekend I was busy working, but I was watching, however I could. Same thing, like tablet, phone, work TVs, etc.
My favorite was when I was at Thursday night. I mentioned this earlier in the show that when Arizona lost, all the people where I was at Thursday night just moaning miserably. They were all angry about it. Yeah.
That's how they all said it too.
How is
bracket?
How is your bracket?
I don't know. It's garbage. I mean, come on. That's how it should be. That's how it should be. The only people that have a good bracket right now are like the office assistant who never watched one college basketball game, and they're at like 98% correct.
Or Jeff Nadeau.
Is he even? I can't imagine his bracket being that good. I remember a lot of his picks. There were some upsets.
Yeah,
Is
there
he
were
killing
some
it?
I mean, I have no idea.
Yeah.
All I know is
I mean,
that
the best insiders and college basketball bettors in the world that I follow, their brackets are busted because that's the beauty of March Madness.
I won a bracket pool once. It was like 2012. And I'm telling you right now, it was just pure luck.
Of course.
Like, you can't tell me.
That's how it always is.
Like, there's no way I can sit here with an honest,
we all
bone in my
knew,
body
right,
and act like, oh, I knew
FDU would beat Purdue and Arizona was going to lose to Princeton and Princeton was going to get to the Sweet 16.
No.
I mean, come on, the list can go on.
You know what? Princeton, the Sweet 16, people who go to Princeton.
They didn't even fill out a bracket. I saw such a funny tweet. It was a photo of a library and just a bunch of kids like reading, and it's like live reaction at the Princeton campus after their big win. It's like,
by the way, one of my favorite stories of the tournament. Did you see the story about Fairleigh Dickinson and the person who runs like their media department?
yeah, it's like a junior in.
It's a kid
in
because
college.
they have no money in their budget.
Yeah, it's just
for any media department or PR. So it's just a random kid who's basically like a live in action intern, basically,
right,
who's like doing the work for free. And he's getting like the greatest experience of his life working at the NCAA tournament, being the media guy. It's like
it's a great experience for him. He's like, hey, do you want to be the media guy this year for the school? He's like, I guess.
Yeah, now he gets to go to the NCAA tournament. They got to the second round of the tournament.
It's awesome.
One of the most greatest upsets in tournament history. Fairleigh Dickinson, a Jersey school, does it again.
FDU with the points was a lock against FAU. I mean, they were up to like 15-point underdogs. It's insanity.
The only upsets that I got right, like I had Furman winning, but that was more like
that was a popular pick, but still good on you.
Yeah, well, I mean, I only picked it because I heard enough people mention it.
Oh, dude, it was. I mean, I saw something before that game. It was like 78% of the public bets were on Furman. It was insanity,
right?
And they ended up being right.
Hey, listen, like I said, it's a lucky thing. It really is. We're going to get deeper into it with former Boston College coach Scott Spinelli on the other side here on the Sports Bash coming up in a few minutes. Also, we'll get back to the Sixers in the next hour because we got some stuff to talk about the Sixers because the Sixers won 8 straight games. I know it's fallen under the radar, folks, because of the Eagles offseason and March Madness and, St. Patrick's Day and whatever else is going on in your life, Somebody texted in, by the way, earlier because I was mentioning all the things I'm watching instead of the World Baseball Classic, which Ryan was very disappointed in me about.
I was.
Somebody texted in. Here it is. Andrew texted in and says, how about Ted Lasso season 3?
Oh, I cannot wait for Ted Lasso. See, I love Ted Lasso so much. I wait until all the episodes are out and I binge it in one night because I'm a sicko.
That's what I'm doing right now with The Mandalorian on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
I'm not watching it week by week. I'm waiting until all the episodes are loaded.
That's how it should be.
And then I'm just going to run through because
I can't wait a week.
Because some of those cliffhangers are just too much for me. Like, I'll admit it. Like, I'm too much of an impatient individual.
So am I. I can't, people actually sit down, watch a 20-minute episode, and then say, all right, get back to it next week. I need to bang out 8 straight episodes.
Yeah, it's Ted Lasso can go on the list ahead of a World Baseball Classic. I'll give you that.
Oh, yeah. I agree with that.
I mean, the thing is that, when you watch as much sports as we do, though, you got to pick and choose when you're going to watch things. So it's like, I'm still working my way through Cobra Kai. And it's like, if you get 2-3 episodes in at a time, you're feel accomplished.
I get it.
Whereas if it's if it's like you said, for you, Ted Lasso, and me, The Mandalorian, you'll be up till 3:00 in the morning. I got to finish the 8th episode.
Yeah.
I'm almost there.
Exactly. No sleep.
Speaking of no sleep, Scott Spinelli, former Boston College coach, I'm sure he hasn't gotten a lot of sleep watching the NCAA tournament. 4 days of madness. What do we take from it? We'll ask Scott Spinelli, former Boston College coach, next on 97.3 ESPN.
Here's what you missed on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
What's your go-to on the pancake? Plain, strawberry, banana?
I'm more of a regular. I'm more of a regular short stack. I might flirt with a banana pancake, strawberry pancakes every once in a while.
I think that might be too sweet. Blueberry pancakes is probably my...
You're a blueberry guy?
Yeah, I'm a blueberry guy because the bananas are always too sweet for some reason. And then strawberries fine, but the blueberries, when they're fire in the cake, not just on top. Fire. Pancakes is fire, man.
I got a pancake. Give me a short stack alone. I don't need anything else.
And I'm a ham steak guy opposed to a bacon because the bacon at IHOP is like
little undercooked something.
Oh, it's paper thin. It's just
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Weekday mornings at 6 on 97.3 ESPN. Brought to you by
Ocean Casino Resort. Get your game on at the Gallery Bar Booking Games in Ocean Casino Resort. Visit theoceanac.com. Hey guys, Mike Gill from my friends at Ambient Comfort Heating and Cooling Professionals. As your furnace and air conditioner age, they become less efficient, costing you more money to operate and creating a higher risk for expensive repairs. Ambient Comfort has a new program that gives you a new high-efficiency furnace and air conditioner installed. No interest, no payments for 12 months. And have your Elite or Signature system installed by March 31st and get 10 years parts and labors at no additional cost. This is truly an amazing offer. No payments or interest for a year for qualified customers and 10 years free parts and labor on your new heating and air conditioning systems. Enjoy the comfort of knowing that your home will be comfortable in cold and warm weather for years to come with no extra expense. For details and to get your system installed before March 31st, call Ambient Comfort 609-568-0955 or visit ambientcomfortnj.com. When comfort matters, choose Ambient Comfort.
Attorney Joe Cordell. Divorce forces a father to focus on what's most important, his children. In the divorce process, this comes down to three key concerns: physical custody, decision-making, as well as financial support. Each of these is important, and it's important that you choose a lawyer that cares as much about these issues as you do.
Online at CordellCordell.com. Offices in Philadelphia, Radnor, and Allentown, Pennsylvania, and Mount Laurel, New Jersey. Michelle Ferrari, licensed in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only.
Are you tired of car dealer ads that boast about deals that sound too good to be true just to find out they can't live up to the promise? That's why we've been saying for so many years that it's worth it to take the short drive to Woodbine. At Gentilini Ford, we've built a reputation for taking care of our community and treating customers like family for 65 years with the best deals, real value, and no empty promises. I'm Paul Gentilini, and I assure you no other dealer in South Jersey beats our deals. We've been built Ford proud since 1955 as South Jersey's longest-standing Ford dealer for a reason. So check us out to experience the Gentilini difference. Give us a call at 609-861-0100. Visit us online at Gentiliniford.com or stop by today at 555 John S. Penn Boulevard next to the airport in Woodbine, New Jersey. We're just a short drive from anywhere.
Just a short drive from anywhere. Gentilini Family Motors.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Tara, quote, "My doctor wanted me to do saline rinses for my allergies, but I've never been able to successfully use a neti pot. Navage uses suction power, so it's foolproof. There are nights when I'll have particularly bothersome allergies. I'll bust it out, and the results are immediate. It's such a relief. It's become a lifesaver," unquote. She's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, Navage, clean nose, healthy life.
I guess one time isn't gonna kill me.
It's totally safe. We do this all the time.
There's no way these drugs are laced, right?
Trust me, you're gonna be fine.
I just need to forget everything.
It'll be fun.
A lethal dose of fentanyl is just 4 grains of sand. It can hide in any drug. So no matter what you and your friends think, what you can't see will kill you. Don't die to get high. Fentanyl is fatal. Get the whole truth at CamdenCounty.com/fentanyl.
With all the sports we have, every time of the year is the best time of the year.
And the crowd just buzzing with excitement.
On 97.3 ESPN, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City, a Town Square media station. This is the Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN. Now, live inside the Matt Black Kia Studios, here's Mike Gill.
Josh Hennig filling in for Mike Gill. A couple more days here on the Sports Bash, 97.3 ESPN, alongside Ryan Rothstein. We are live at the Gallery Bar booking games at Ocean Casino Resort, where the tournament has been wild. Like they call it March Madness, Ryan. It actually has been literal madness.
It's been chaos.
Listen, here on 97.3 ESPN, we got you every game Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, wall-to-wall quick coverage, 12 a.m. to 12 p.m. But now it's Monday. We can catch our breath and to get more into what on earth happened over the last 4 days. We are being joined by Scott Spinelli. You've heard him here on the Sports Bash before from the Believe Podcasting Network. Of course, he used to coach at Boston College as well as the University of Maryland. He joins us on the phone line now here on 97.3 ESPN. Coach, welcome in. How are you doing today? Coach, I want to ask you first and foremost, is there a moment of the last 4 days that maybe stood out to you or surprised you the most? Because I know for a lot of people, I mean, I was with people on Thursday, they were losing their mind when Arizona lost. A lot of people in this area were like, I can't believe Fairleigh Dickinson won. You know, another Jersey school pulls off an upset. You know, what was your biggest surprise or takeaway from the first 4 days of the tourney?
Hey, Scott, it's Ryan. Good to talk to you, man. We appreciate it. You mentioned some of the storylines regarding, you know, the Blue Bloods, as you described, and Purdue going down to FDU, which was just absolute insanity. But nonetheless, are the Blue Bloods now, I don't want to say in trouble, but talk about, I guess, the impact of the NIL, if there is a big one, and parity in college basketball, and how that all has really impacted how head coaches now, you know, recruit and build their teams to try and make a deep, run in the tournament. Yep. Yep. Huge. Yep.
Coach, I want to ask you specifically about one of the teams that has made it to the Sweet 16. Talk to us about, is Houston and Xavier, are they really as good as they've looked so far, or is it just an illusion?
Yeah. Yep. Princeton Creighton. Death, taxes, and Tom Izzo getting to the Sweet 16, Coach. I mean, my goodness, 15 appearances in the Sweet 16 and 25 tries. It doesn't matter if I'm playing guard. It's like they're getting to at least the second weekend. How does the man do it? Mm-hmm.
Talking with Coach Scott Spinelli from the Believe Podcasting Network. Of course, he used to be the interim head coach at Boston College, also used to work at the University of Maryland. So, Coach, you know basketball. You've seen a lot of different variations of it. You know, you mentioned a team like Miami from the ACC. Do they have the firepower to go deeper? Because I know for a lot of people, you know, when you think of Miami, if you're old enough, you don't think of basketball, you think of football. So how is this team doing what they're doing? We know Larinaga did it years ago with George Mason. How is he doing it now?
Coach, there's been a lot of chaos and surprise upsets, as we've discussed already with you here today. But now that the dust is settled, the Sweet 16 field is set, there's obviously those Cinderella potential stories in Princeton, FAU, Arkansas, and Michigan State. Certainly not a tiny program we're talking about there, but 7 and 8 seeds. Which team do you see having potential to continue dancing possibly into a Final Four appearance, if any? Yeah. Yep. Hmm.
Coach, I want to ask you about one of the only teams that I got right in my bracket, which is Kansas State. I mean, I love the way they're playing. Do they have the sustainability to keep making a run deeper than the Sweet 16? Coach, I know you have a keen eye for seeing the talent within someone that maybe many others failed to see. I know Chris Middleton is just one of many as someone that you really spotted and pinpointed. But basically, what I'm trying to get to is who's some players that you've seen right now in the tournament that you say, you know what? There's someone that can really have some success at the next level, whether it's an obvious popular answer or some under the radar players. Yeah. Sheboy? Yeah. It's Sheboy. Is that who you're talking about? Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's right.
Coach, talk to me a little bit about the state of college basketball. Only one Big Ten team left. SEC's got 3 teams, just Texas and K-State surviving after the first 4 days. I know you and Ryan talked a little bit about, the adults on the court, but what does it also say to the level of parity in college basketball about the fact that, a lot of people argue, well, what's the best conference out there? Well, as of right now, I don't know if you really can say there is a best conference after the first 4 days, right?
Talking with Coach Scott Spinelli here. Excellent insight as we always enjoy your speaking with you here, Coach. And let me just put you on the spot for a second. If you had to pick a national title winner right now, because we're sitting inside the Ocean Casino at their gallery, bar, book, and game sports book here, so I want to throw a couple of dollars on a national title winner. Who would you bet on right now? Smart man.
Coach, one more before we let you go. We appreciate you jumping on. I want to ask you, because we didn't talk much about them yet, but you mentioned Drew Timme. Gonzaga, they have become like the weird blue blood that, 20 years ago, nobody was talking about Gonzaga as a perennial conversation. And, with those older players that you mentioned before, with, Mark Few seemingly there year in, year out, like Ryan mentioned, death taxes and Tom Izzo. Well, it's also Mark Few as well. I mean, this guy, he keeps showing up year in and year out. What are your thoughts on this year's Gonzaga team? He's Coach Scott Spinelli, used to be the interim head coach over at Boston College and used to work over at the University of Maryland. Now you catch him on the Believe Podcasting Network with everything you need to know about the NCAA tournament in March Madness. Coach, we appreciate you jumping on today. We got a couple of days down from the tournament, but we'll be back up and running again on Thursday, and I'm sure we'll be talking again with Mike Gill soon.
Yeah, thanks, Coach. You too.
And, of course, as Ryan mentioned, we are live here at the Gallery Bar booking games in Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City. Go for the sports scene and go for the endless screens. Go to the Gallery, go to Ocean, go for the win. For more information, visit oceanac.com. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. We're only out here for about 40 minutes, basically. Myself, Ryan Rothstein hanging out here, filling in for Mike Gill. Ariel's to my left, throwing people T-shirts and koozies. You know, she's got
a T-shirt gun.
Yeah, I wish she had a T-shirt.
Yeah.
That'd be actually more entertaining, actually.
Get on your feet.
Yeah, but yeah, if you want to get a T-shirt, you want to get a koozie, you got to come out here. You got to show us you download the app. You're listening to the show. So make sure if you want to join us out here, Gallery Bar booking games inside Ocean Casino Resort. Like I said, we'll be here for about a little under 40 minutes left. And as always, you can join the conversation as well. 609-403-0973 is the text board. And don't forget, Sixers basketball tonight. Will they make it 9 straight? Ryan and I will get into that next here on 97.3 ESPN FM and 97.3 ESPN mobile app. It's free thanks to First Bank of Sea Isle.
The best way to wake up is with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Weekday mornings at 6 on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
Kindle Auto Plaza has the area's largest selection of pre-owned vehicles of all makes and models. With over 80 pre-owned vehicles on their huge 100-acre lot. Everything from sporty coupes to SUVs to trucks. Kindle offers the area's best buying experience, easy and hassle-free, with 60 years of customer satisfaction and community service. Discover why Kindle customers are so loyal. Shop for your next pre-owned vehicle at Kindle Auto Plaza, exit 10 of the Parkway on Stone Harbor Boulevard, or at KindleAutoplaza.com.
Here's how we long for Skechers hands-free slip-in footwear.
The world has gone hands-free. However, if you want to put on a pair of sneakers, you still need to bend down and help your feet in. Until now. Introducing Skechers hands-free slip-in footwear. You don't need to reach down to help your heel in. You just step into them and off you go. So what's the secret? Well, there's a special smooth comfort pillow in the heel that helps your foot slide into place. And they stay on just like a pair of laced-up sneakers.
Get hands-free slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you know that these days, generating growth is a challenge. By teaming with Bank of America, you'll not just stay ahead of the curve, you'll move it. With access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2023 Bank of America, N.A.
You eat healthy. You exercise too. But why, oh why, does your tummy have to pop out like that? Dr. Lyle M. Back knows it's not your fault. There are a number of factors that cause your abdominal muscles and skin to lose their elasticity, like pregnancy, weight gain, then weight loss, aging. And no diet, TV gimmick, or sit-up routine can change that. But with a tummy tuck, Dr. Lyle M. Back can help you get a tighter, flatter abdomen. Call 856-MAKEOVER today or visit ilovelyle.back.com.
Hi.
Who's this?
Buzz. He appears whenever you eat Honey Nut Cheerios.
Like a genie?
Sure.
Ooh, does he grant wishes? I wish I lived in a giant boot. No, I wish I could swim with a humpback whale. No.
I can grant you a delicious bowl of Honey Nut Cheerios, which can help lower cholesterol as part of a heart-healthy diet.
Ooh, with heart shapes, too.
Happy heart-shaped Cheerios are back for a limited time. Pick up a box of Honey Nut Cheerios at your local store for an easy, delicious, and heart-healthy start to your day.
A good work partner knows what you need before you need it. That's how it feels when you work with Cintas. Your dedicated Cintas service reps get to know your business and have the industry knowledge that can help you prepare for what's ahead. They'll deliver your team's workwear freshly laundered. Make sure your first aid and safety supplies, mats, mops, and towels are stocked when you need them. And your fire extinguishers are inspected and in working order. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Attention car buyers. Matt Blatt Kia has 3 questions. Do you have a current vehicle loan or lease?
Do you want a low financing rate? Do you want a new ride? If you've answered yes, then stop what you're doing and get to Matt Blatt Kia today. Because if you're currently stuck in a loan or lease, Matt Blatt Kia wants to get you released with 0 down and 2.9% financing for 48 months or no payments for 90 days on every 2023 Kia Forte in stock. Have a job clearing $350 per week? Matt Blatt Kia wants to approve you today. So bring any trade to Matt Blatt Kia and drive home in a brand new Kia with peace of mind with Matt Blatt Kia's exclusive 4-day love it or leave it return policy.
It's gotta be a Matt Blatt Kia.
With approved credit, not all will qualify. Go to mattblattkianj.com for complete details or 888-505-6670. Price includes all costs to be paid by consumer except for licensing, registration, and taxes. Expires 3/31/23. Matt Blatt Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township, and now on Route 37 in Toms River.
Powered by the all-new BetParks New Jersey Casino and Sportsbook app. BetParks.com. This is the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network.
I'm Josh Hennig with your South Jersey Sports Center, brought to you by Bet365. Download the app today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Despite reports of the Eagles offering a multi-year contract, safety C.J. Garner Johnson has chosen to sign with the Detroit Lions on a deal worth up to $8 million for 1 year. This is now 5 starters from the Eagles defense last season who have departed in free agency. Could the Phillies' top pitching prospect Andrew Painter take the mound at Citizens Bank Park this summer? Get all the details about what Dave Dombrowski said right now at 973ESPN.com. The Sixers are winners of 8 straight games that they return home to play the Chicago Bulls tonight. Listen to the game here on 97.3 ESPN. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Get more Eagles, Sixers, Phillies, and Flyers on our app. Your forecast is next.
I guess one time isn't gonna kill me.
It's totally safe. We do this all the time.
There's no way these drugs are laced, right?
Trust me, you're gonna be fine.
I just need to forget
Just
everything
relax.
right now.
It'll be fun.
A lethal dose of fentanyl is just 4 grains of sand. It can hide in any drug. So no matter what you and your friends think, what you can't see will kill you. Don't die to get high. Fentanyl is fatal. Get the whole truth at CamdenCounty.com/fentanyl.
From the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dan Zarrow. The later in the week we go, the warmer it's going to get, but also the more unsettled our weather will become. Skies stay clear tonight. Temperatures will be seasonably cool, low of 32. Tomorrow, high of 60. Very nice. Mostly sunny skies with some late-day clouds building in. Wednesday, partly to mostly cloudy. Chance of a late-day shower or sprinkle, high 59. A few more rain showers Thursday. Get weather 24/7 wherever you are. Download our free mobile app today.
This hour brought to you by Xfinity.
Everything's so fast. We were lucky if we could get one video to load. But now with the Xfinity 10G network, you can power a house full of devices at once with ultra-low lag. The future starts now. Restrictions apply. Actual speeds vary and not guaranteed.
Now, back to the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN.
Josh Hennig filling in for Mike Gill here on the Sports Bash, live from the Gallery Bar, booking games in Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City alongside Ryan Rothstein. You can follow him on Twitter at WiseRye on Twitter. I'm on Twitter at Josh Hennig. We got Ariel to my left with the T-shirts and the koozies. Danny Ryan back in the studio pushing the buttons and producing the show here on 97.3 ESPN. Speaking of 97.3 ESPN, tonight 7 o'clock, Sixers. They got one home game in this weird stretch of road trip games here, but they are playing the Bulls, so it should be an interesting game. Sixers, though, they have won 8 straight. And I asked the question earlier to Mike McGarry, and I'll ask you the same question, Ryan.
Okay.
Is the Sixers team that has won 10 of the last 13 games since returning from the All-Star break, is this the real Sixers?
As far as what? When you say the real Sixers, what are we talking here?
The Sixers team we'll see in the playoffs.
Oh, I have no clue. Right? I don't think anyone knows that answer, and that's part of the frustration. That's part of the the skepticism, the doubt that so many Sixers fans have right now because of how they've been burnt in the past, how this team has hurt us year in and year out. But I will say this is what I do know. They do look different. Embiid is different. Once again, we ask every year, is this peak Joel Embiid? And so far, he's continued to say, hold my beer, and he's one-upped his previous season's level of play. So if we can get this version of Joel Embiid healthy and this version of James Harden healthy, that should be enough to at least be talking about this team in the Eastern Conference Finals. I do believe that.
Before we get to specifically Embiid, I want to ask you about the bigger picture. You said it does feel a little different.
Mm-hmm.
How much of that difference has to do, Doc Rivers has been criticized a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. Rightfully so at times. Okay. I'm not vacating him of blame. There is some blame to go around, honestly.
Sure.
But all of a sudden, we're seeing a lot more Paul Reed. All of a sudden, we're seeing them change the lineup again. Remember, Max gets put back in the starting lineup. Melton's coming off the bench.
Yeah.
How much do you think that some of those changes have impacted this recent run of success?
I think Doc Rivers deserves a lot of credit for the Sixers' success up to this point in the regular season. But it's different in the playoffs. And for me, it's never been an issue about how Doc Rivers coaches in the regular season. It's different in the playoffs. That's just a fact. And listen, in the NBA, coaches can win or lose a series. And how they do that is typically a team will get out to a 2-0 lead, or maybe it's 1-1, whatever. And as the series shifts, Coach B decides to make an adjustment. That adjustment works. So it's now back to Coach A to make an adjustment. And where Doc has failed or he's been stubborn is he'll make one adjustment, but he'll never make a second adjustment. And that has been the difference in him blowing 3-1 series leads and him, coming up short as far as expectations. So long-winded answer there, Josh, but I still have my doubts come playoff time for Doc.
Yeah, I mean, I think with Doc with the playoffs is that when you go back through some of those series, some of it was also injuries, with the Clippers.
It's not all on him.
I mean, that Magic team was an 8 seed when they had a 3-1 lead. So they were playing above their skis anyway.
Yeah.
So, it's not all him literally, but it doesn't. No. It looks bad on the record.
Yeah, and he's still part of it, though.
Right. Well, he's part of it. I think that's my bigger thing. Like I was telling you and McGarry earlier in the show, I don't think it's a coincidence that when this team loses, they're averaging 14 turnovers a game. When they're winning, they're averaging 9. That 5 turnover differential, you go back through those games and you realize when you're losing by 3 to Boston, when you're losing by a shot to Miami, those turnovers are literally what lost you the game. And to me, when I see some of those turnovers by the players, that's what makes me say I can't be too mad at Doc, because at some point I've been told how many times James Harden's basketball IQ, Joel Embiid, he's such an amazing hard worker and talent. Mm-hmm. If you're all those things, why do you make some of these imbecilic turnovers?
Well, I feel like you're possibly scratching the surface with something interesting there, but you're not there yet. So I want to try and push you to it.
Well, take me there. Let's go.
Yeah. What's the problem then, or what or who is the potential problem when you say that?
I think in part of it is some of the players. I think some of the players, like Embiid and Harden.
Okay.
You're supposed to be 2 of the best players on the team, right?
I mean, 2 in the world, yeah.
Okay. If Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen had a game where they each had 6 turnovers in a game, or they had a game, let's say it was LeBron, D. Wade, and Bosh combined for, I'm just throwing out a number, 15 turnovers combined in a game. Wouldn't we rip them?
Of course.
So why don't we lay into Embiid and Harden in those situations more?
I think plenty of people lay into James Harden, but I don't think there's enough that call out Joel Embiid. I said this over the weekend, and I'll say it again, and I'll continue to say it. This is the playoffs for me, meaning this year, this playoff run or lack thereof, I'm getting all my answers. And when I say I'm getting all my answers, if Joel Embiid is healthy and he and or the team come up small, some serious decisions and changes must be made. Because I do have my questions and concerns and doubt in a team being led by a big man to win it all or even get to the finals, right? So, this is it. It's time we hold Joel Embiid accountable and everyone else.
I mean, when was the last time a big man led a team? It was Dirk?
Yeah, but he's not a big. But
Tim Duncan?
Yeah, it might be Duncan. And the game was different then.
I mean,
and they had Kawhi.
Well, I mean, before even Kawhi, though.
Right.
I mean, well, the problem is nobody wins by themselves. We all know that.
No.
But
it's the makeup of a team is my point.
That's why I always tell people, like, this idea that, like, we call people losers just because they don't win a championship is ridiculous to me.
It is. But it's not Joel Embiid's fault even when I say that. It's just the way the game is played today.
He is part of the problem.
Well, he is. I agree with that, too.
When they lose certain games certain ways.
I don't love how he carries himself at times. I think he can get sloppy with the basketball at times. So, yeah, we can't see any of that happen in a big playoff game.
Speaking of Joel Embiid, for those who are wondering, Joel Embiid, since the NBA All-Star break, 13 games, Ryan.
Yeah.
He's averaging 35 points a game, 2.6 blocks per game, over 10 rebounds a game, and 4.5 assists per game.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
Is he finally going to get that MVP shot?
Yeah. At this point, as long as, knock on wood, he stays healthy, I think everyone has shut up about this because Denver has started to falter and become sloppy. The Sixers have just been excellent overall. 8 straight wins, probably will make it 9 tonight. 9 straight games where Embiid has scored 30 points or more. If he continues down this path, they're not going to have a choice but to crown him league MVP.
See, here's my problem with this conversation, and that is I say that, you say that, maybe Danny Ryan back in the studio is saying that, maybe the person sitting here at the gallery sports book, maybe they walk over to the window over there here at Ocean Casino Resort and they place a bet on Embiid to win, which is probably not a good value right now.
No, he's like minus 200, but that helps. Yeah. That helps me ease my tension with it, but go ahead.
But, that doesn't account for people who are actually voting for this. And we know over the years that some people who vote for these awards, they do it for some of the dumbest reasons.
Yeah, but the betting odds show me who's going to win because these odds makers, these books, they have connections and they know what the vibe around the league and the voters are going to be and what it currently is, I should say. And Embiid as like an overwhelming betting favorite right now, I think should tell you enough that he's going to win. At the moment, at least. It could change.
When you talk about if things stay as they are, if Embiid does win an MVP award, does that change the narrative on him?
It's a good question. I mean, let me ask you, like, what is the narrative around him?
I think the narrative around him is he is, for all intents and purposes, he is the modern-day Dominique Wilkins. He's this amazing player who leads his team to the postseason every year, but doesn't get to the NBA Finals.
Yeah, I mean, listen, when you become MVP, unless you're Jokic, I mean, you're not allowed to criticize Jokic, but say that kiddingly. When you win an MVP, it's like, all right, then show us what you got when the lights are really on. So, yeah, I think it's going to amplify expectation, right?
I mean, I think it amplifies expectation, but I think it also, there's a little vindication there. Because when you win an MVP, like when Russell Westbrook won that MVP with OKC, he went from being the guy left in Oklahoma City
to an MVP. Yeah, I get it.
Well, we got to respect this guy differently because, and I think Embiid would fall into that same narrative where it's like, hey, if Joel never wins a championship, but he at least won the MVP, it shows you that, everything that happened, the years of him missing with injury, him almost quitting basketball because his brother died, right? The whole Ben Simmons fiasco, the going through 20 GMs in a 10-year period,
right?
And, all of the other weird stuff.
Yeah,
right?
There's been too much of it. The Colangelo collar.
The Chick-fil-A fiascos, everything, it's like it was worth it. The fact that, there's only a handful of guys who have ever been in a Sixers uniform who have won an MVP award.
Special.
And he's won. It changes that whole perspective. And that's what fascinates me because how much does it change? Because when Iverson won the MVP,
that was the top of the mountain for him.
But guess what? There were Iverson fans and there were always Iverson deniers. So is that going to be Embiid? Is it always going to be, hey, you won an MVP, but there's still going to be the deniers out there?
Possibly, but here's the thing that could end up being the biggest positive from all this, because look at how this season and particularly this stretch has been different for the Sixers and Joel Embiid. What are we typically getting fed with Joel Embiid? Load management. We got to put him on cruise control so he's ready for the playoffs. And every year he's hurt. Right now, his foot is all the way. He's flooring it with the gas pedal right now. And I think an attempt to tell everyone to shove it, and I'm the MVP. And I like that mentality going right into the playoffs. He's never had this mentality. It's always been like bubble wrap them, shelf them.
Right.
And look at what we've gotten because of that.
How much do you also think that it's also a maturity thing? It's Joel is grown up. He's grown up into this monster, for lack of a better term.
No, I think it's clear as day, right? I mean, he said it himself once he settled down and he had a kid and he has his girl now, that has helped him grow up. Wouldn't you agree?
I think so. I think also, there's a handful of fans who would hate when I say this, but, I think that for the people who believed in the process, he is like their shining moment, to use an NCAA tournament term,
Nice.
He is the thing that they can hang on to and say, hey, we got this out of it. Because, there's a lot of people, and I mean, for me personally, I think the whole process debate is it's like being a dead horse.
Yeah, listen, you either were a fan of it or you weren't.
Right.
There's no like right or wrong because
to
the
me,
people.
I always tell people, and I Mike Gill, whenever he brings up, I tell him the process didn't succeed or fail, was incomplete because Sam Hinkie was never allowed to finish the job.
Yeah.
And because the Colangelos came in, and because you change the roster and the lineup almost every single year for a 7-year period. And, there are always going to be those fans who are like, if you didn't draft Ben Simmons, or if you didn't do this, you didn't do that.
It's not the reality.
You're never going to have a clear and concise answer on this. So to me, instead of arguing about the process, to me, let's talk about the here and now. And the here and now is that you can argue this is the best shot they're ever going to have to win a championship with the way the league is right now, with how well Embiid is playing, with how healthy Harden is. Talk about Harden's health.
Harden looks great.
I mean, all the stories about, apparently Harden every morning wakes up in his house, goes down to his basketball court, and makes his buddy from high school play defense against him in the house to get a morning sweat in.
Yeah.
It's like, great, we're doing all the things now. If you don't do something now, I'd argue, Ryan, you're never going to do it.
I wouldn't argue against that point, Josh. It feels like this is the chance because we've said that in the past, and you're not going to be able to continue to say that year after year. So it's now or never. It does have that type of feel, and it feels like they're playing with that type of urgency.
And you know what? Maybe that's the difference. Maybe the difference is they had to have some urgency. Maybe they had to feel like they were in the final round of the boxing match, and their back is against the wall, and they're getting body shot after body shot, and they finally have to turn around, like they say to Adonis Creed in Creed 3, and says, "Stop going out there and box, go out there and fight." And that's the reason why he.
You've already
wins the
seen
fight.
Creed 3?
Yeah.
All right, don't ruin it for me, man. He probably wins.
Well, that's actually in the trailer. That scene I just
okay.
referenced.
There we go. I haven't been caught up with the trailer either. We were just like, I hope the ending's like Rocky 2, not Rocky 1, I hope we win. We don't tie.
Yeah. Listen, as long as we don't get a Rocky 4 speech at the end, I think we'll all be good.
I agree.
Or the ending of Rocky 5 where they're fighting in the street.
Ugh.
I mean,
so bad.
Is Rocky 5 the worst of the Rocky movies? It's got to be, right?
It has to be. I don't think it's even close.
I mean, even Rocky 6 was better than Rocky 5.
Rocky 6 was much better. Yes. Rocky 5 is just a disgrace to the whole series, really.
I will say, I don't think Creed 3 was the best of the Creed movies. I know some people think it is, but I think they did an incredible job at bringing all the pieces together. And I think Jonathan Majors is turning into a rock star.
All right. I'm excited to see it. I mean, Creed 1 for me was still 2 was good. I loved Creed 1 though.
Honestly, I think Creed 2 might be the best. Because I think it was a moment where the character's maturity came full circle.
Okay.
But that's just one man's opinion.
It is.
Josh Hennig filling in for Mike Gill here on the Sports Bash. You're not getting this movie talk on Mike Gill.
No, you're not.
On 97.3 ESPN. Mike Gill hasn't been to a movie theater since the 1990s. Meanwhile, I seem
Since
to go.
Titanic.
Meanwhile, I go seemingly once a month to the movie theater to eat my popcorn and recline in the chair and watch a movie. I'll go next weekend and see John Wick Chapter 4, for goodness sake.
Yeah, you will.
He's Ryan Rothstein at WiseRye on Twitter, at Josh Hennig on Twitter. We'll wrap up the show coming up next, 97.3 ESPN FM and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. It's free thanks to First Bank of Sea Isle.
The excitement of a big play.
Dominic and jams it. Joel and B with a right hand jam.
And all the drama of sports.
Johnny good throw. Back in front. The one-timer. Oh, Hart lunges over. Makes a great save.
All in one place. 97.3 ESPN.
Your next BMW is waiting for you at BMW of Atlantic City. Find exceptional savings on an extensive selection of your favorite new BMW models. Right now, lease a new 2023 BMW X3 S-Drive 30i for $559 a month for 36 months. Plus, get exceptional trade-in value for your current vehicle. Visit BMW of Atlantic City, closer than you think. Located in Egg Harbor Township and online at bmwatlanticcity.com. For more details, call us toll-free at 609-316-2393.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Josh, quote, "After walking around my whole life being a mouth breather, I was excited to try Navage. I read the directions carefully, pressed the button, and oh my gosh, what a sensation. So much mucus, so much crud, but oh sweet, merciful air, I can finally breathe you through my nose. Never have I ever taken such an amazing breath in my life. This is a life changer," unquote. He's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, Navage, clean nose, healthy life.
Mom, Dad, Sis?
Here we go again.
Why are you in a suit? Picture, if you will, a world with the best network imaginable. I'm talking about the Xfinity 10G network. Go on. Mom, remember how your reality shows wouldn't load with all of us online? Now you can binge. And Susie, we'll have fast internet in the basement.
Nice.
If you have any questions, here's my card.
This is just your name on a gum wrapper.
Introducing the 10G network only from Xfinity. The future starts now. Now through April 23rd, new customers can get 200 megabit Xfinity internet during our limited time Xfinity 10G network launch celebration for just $25 a month for 2 years. Plus, there's no annual contract required and you get Wi-Fi equipment included. Go to Xfinity.com/10G, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply to internet service and devices. Actual speeds vary.
When you want experience, go for the best. Pick up the phone and call Dennisville Fence.
Calling all South Jersey contractors, we are thrilled to invite you to celebrate the grand opening of our new location at 229 Shore Road in Summers Point. On Friday, March 24th from 11 to 4, please join us for an unforgettable day filled with new products and some tasty Taco Cat treats. Our team of experts is geared up and excited to help you discover the perfect solution for all of your fence and railing projects. And that's not all. We're giving away $350 vouchers towards any 2023 purchases. This is a can't-miss event, so mark your calendars and join us for a great day of new products and tasty tacos on Friday, March 24th from 11 to 4 at 229 Shore Road in Summers Point. We'll see you there.
Go with experience, go for the best. Pick up the phone and call Dennisville Fence. 1-800-499-FENCE. Visit DennisvilleFence.com.
Breaking news.
Tax refund shock is everywhere, but what is it?
My tax refund shrank.
Mine too. The culprit? Pandemic-related stimulus payments and tax credits expiring. In this reporter's opinion, you need a tax expert.
Hey guys, Jackson Hewitt guarantees your biggest refund.
And tax prep is 50% off? Going there now.
50% off is a limited time offer for new clients filing at participating locations. Max value $200. Visit jacksonhewitt.com/50 for terms.
With Mega Millions now up to $272 million, what are you waiting for? A $2 chance could make you Jersey's next mega winner. After all, anything can happen in Jersey.
With GMF financing, qualified buyers excludes Corvette.
It's back! That's right. March Markdown is back at Bennett Chevrolet. And this year, the savings are bigger and better than ever, with huge savings on every vehicle, because we need to move out over 200 of them right now. Believe it or not, Bennett Chevrolet is selling new vehicles at GM supplier employee pricing for everybody. Plus, there's available 0% financing. And Bennett is giving a minimum $10,000 for the worst clunker towards any pre-owned vehicle in stock. That's at least $10,000 for total junk. Just imagine how much Bennett is paying for good trades. And Bennett's non-commissioned sales team is a delight to work with, because they're paid on your satisfaction, not how much you spend. Don't miss March Markdowns going on now at Bennett Chevrolet, and get your new Chevy at GM supplier employee pricing, 0% available financing, and at least $10,000 for any trade towards any pre-owned in stock. All new roads at Egg Harbor Township and Chevy.com.
Now, back to the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN.
I mean, if you're going to play that song,
Danny Ryan,
coming back from the break, you got to let the whole thing air itself out.
Yeah.
Can't talk over that whole thing. I mean, this is one of the most famous hip-hop songs of all time. I mean, Biggie, I mean, this got to be what? Top 10 all time, right?
For what?
Hip-hop songs.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were just saying Biggie in general. I was saying, yeah, he's top 3, top 2.
Biggie's probably top 5.
Definitely top 5.
You know, I mean, it's like him, it's Tupac.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you got to have him in your top.
Dre.
In your GOAT category.
Jay-Z fits in the top 5, right?
Sure.
Yeah. I put DMX in there. That's a selfish decision.
Yeah, that's your choice.
To me, DMX is my favorite rapper of all time.
He's good. He's great. Yeah, he's not in the same breath as Biggie, though.
No, but see, DMX spoke for my generation. You know, I'm a little older than you. So my generation was all like, you know, Rage Against the Machine, Me Against the World, Tupac. You know, we were all angry.
Listen,
so DMX spoke for us.
If DMX can't fire you up, you're not really breathing. You're not alive. So, yeah.
Give him a follow on Twitter at WiseRye, on Twitter at Josh Hennig on Twitter. I'll be back in one more day for Mike Gill on the Sports Bash. No more game night until Wednesday as I fill in for Mike Gill. So the best of Sports Bash is next, followed by Sixers basketball home against the Bulls tonight at 7. Both me, Ryan, and Jeff in Ocean City say they go for 9 in a row.
They do.
Tonight. So we talk about another Sixers win tomorrow on 97.3 ESPN. Or we're all wrong, and we'll just complain more about the Sixers tomorrow here on 97.3 ESPN. Thanks to Danny Ryan back in the studio for pushing all the buttons. Thanks to Ariel here on site. I'm Josh Hennig. Have a great night.
It's Sixers basketball tonight on 97.3 ESPN with the voice of the 76ers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
Shot by Melton. Melton, lob play. Daniel House with a right-hand throwdown. Oh, man.
It's Sixers Bulls.